Chapter 1191. Jiang Country, a certain small marketplace. Azure Phoenix Immortal City has a new city lord. True Immortal White Peak is suspected to have been killed by a demonic path cultivator. No wonder the bunch of sword-crazed folks from Heavenly Sword Sect are acting like they've lost their minds. A beautiful woman dressed in a black gauze skirt, with a heavenly face and a demonically enchanting figure, narrowed her long, slender phoenix eyes as she read the information on the jade slip in her hand. This woman was none other than Nangong Meili, disguised by the misty sky bead. She came to Jiang Country on a mission, thinking to settle her scores with Lu Chongxing on the side. Who would have known that she would be ambushed by Heavenly Sword Sect when crossing the border of Jiang Country? If not for the misty sky bead, this exotic treasure for concealment, she almost perished en route. It was for this reason that upon entering Jiang Country she was extremely careful and cautious, immediately contacting the undercover agents of Five Poisons cult within Jiang Country's cultivation realm to understand the situation and find out what happened. Which power has done this to dare commit such an act? Isn't this a slap in the face of Heavenly Sword Sect? Nangong Meili's phoenix eyes were deep and enthralling. Although she had not heard of this new city lord of Azure Phoenix Immortal City, True Immortal White Peak, she knew that anyone capable of becoming the city lord of Azure Phoenix Immortal City was definitely not simple. You should know that this immortal city is located at the border of Jiang Country and Yu Country. Without the consent of Heavenly Sword Sect, it would be difficult for this person to secure the position. Now that the city lord had taken office not long ago, he was killed within Jiang Country's territory by a demonic path cultivator, naturally incensing Heavenly Sword Sect. Could the news about Tianyuan's secret realm originate from this power, intending to stir up trouble in Jiang Country? If that's the case, the waters of Tianyuan's secret realm might be deeper than the sect hierarch has described, and at this moment, a heaven and earth net might already be prepared. Nangong Meili pondered with a slightly grave expression on her face. Although she came to Jiang Country mainly for Lu Chongxing, she didn't want to miss the opportunity of Tianyuan's secret realm either. Even if she couldn't gain the fortunes of the secret realm, as long as she could obtain useful information, the mission could still bring her substantial benefits. After pondering for a long time, Nangong Meili gently lifted her hand and another jade slip appeared, her divine sense checking the information inside. Lu Chongxing, Qingyun Region, Master of Bihu Mountain, Second-Grade Talisman Master, Second-Order Alchemist, Cultivator at the mid-stage of Foundation Establishment. But relying on the inheritance of the talisman path, his strength is far beyond the ordinary. Practicing the dual cultivation technique with his wife Lu Miaoga, his combat power is comparable to that of a false core immortal. He and his wife once defeated the great elder of the Jin family from Golden Dragon Ridge, who had just broken through to false core. This man has a total of 7 wives and 49 concubines, more than 200 sons and daughters, among which there is a son named Lu Qingshan, who is apprenticed under the Tianyuan True Immortal of Jinyang Sect in Yu Country, and is one of the nascent soul seeds of Jinyang Sect. Nangong Meili read the jade slip with information about Lu Changsheng's appearance, and for some reason the more she read, the more irritated she became. Her slender, jade-like hands' veins popped up, her face as cold as frost, full of chilliness. Nangong Meili has always disliked sharing, preferring to monopolize everything. Even if in her heart she had no involvement with Lu Chongxing, seeing the multitude of his wives, concubines and children, she still couldn't suppress the annoyance and discomfort welling up within her. No wonder this man hasn't come to the Five Poisons cult to inquire over the years. Not showing half the concern for Xiao Chan, not even a single letter to care for and inquire about the situation. Turns out he has so many tender wives and beautiful concubines at home as well as children. Such a faithless and heartless man deserves to die. Nangong Meili's eyes were like water, cold and piercing. Although she doesn't consider having dozens of wives as too many, this sort of behavior is simply irritating to her. It's like her own toy has been taken by others. Especially feeling angry about her own disciple Meng Xiaoquan's ordeal. Over the years, although she hadn't said much, she could clearly see that her disciple Meng Xiaoquan was always thinking of Lu Chongxing. If it wasn't for her restraining, making her disciple take care of Nangong Yaoyao for a long time, it's possible that Meng Xiaoquan would have secretly run to Jiang Country to find Lu Chongxing by now. All men should die. Nangong Meili cursed again, her stunning face like an iceberg, unspeakably cold. Afterward, Nangong Mili took out the map of Jiang country's cultivation realm's power distribution, searching for the location of Bihu Mountain. When she saw the location of Bihu Mountain, her eyebrows furrowed. Bihu Mountain is so close to Qingyun sect? Nangong Mili's brows were tightly knitted. Heavenly Sword sect is currently hunting down nascent soul immortals attracted by Tianyuan's secret realm all over the place. Jiang country's 4 great immortal sects are definitely in a state of high alert, especially since Qingyun sect is now surely on full alert. Especially with Tianyuan's secret realm located at the boundary between Qingyun sect and Wuxia sect. Venturing deeply into the region controlled by Qingyun sect right now is extremely dangerous. Moreover, snatching Lu Chongqing away would be easy, but it would be very difficult to leave Jiang country with him safely. Besides, the brief interaction in the past and the golden core charm, as well as this misty sky bead he nurtured for her, made her feel Lu Chongqing was not simple. He is absolutely not as simple as the information recorded on this jade slip, merely at the mid-stage of foundation establishment. Siege novel and at website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. That dog of a man broke through the mid-stage of foundation establishment with my profound jade liquid back then. How could he still be at the mid-stage of foundation establishment after so many years? Nangong Mili's phoenix eyes showed a complicated emotion as she murmured to herself while gently pursing her luscious red lips. With the misty sky bead, as long as I'm extra careful, I should be safe. First, take a look at Tianyuan's secret realm. If the situation is wrong, then give up immediately and then go to Bihu Mountain. After pondering for a long time, Nangong Mili stood up, her body wrapped in a black gauze dress, revealing a demonically charming and perfectly exquisite figure. She was born loving beauty. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1192. Even though she used the misty sky bead to disguise her appearance, her figure and face remained stunningly beautiful, enchanting all beings. Nangong Mili put on a black veil to slightly cover her unearthly beautiful face, then gracefully walked out of the cave mansion with elegant steps. By Lake Mountain. 29th level energy refinement. Upon hearing the system notification, Lu Chongqing felt a surge of pure mana in his Qi Ocean core and couldn't help feeling emotional. For most foundation establishment families, the 9th level of energy refinement constitutes advanced combat power. Families like Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake generally have just over a dozen cultivators at the 9th level of energy refinement. But now, among his children, there were already 20 at the 9th level of energy refinement. Who knows how many of these 20 will ultimately reach foundation establishment? Lu Chongqing sighed deeply. Although no one in his family had ever failed at foundation establishment. However, he knew well that having all his children break through to foundation establishment is very difficult, nearly impossible. Like his son, Lu Yun, who had used a high-grade breakthrough elixir to advance from middle stage to late stage of energy refinement. This kind of situation affects their breakthrough to foundation establishment. Lu Yun's situation is not unique. Many of his children with low-quality spiritual roots had only managed to break through to the late stage of energy refinement by relying on high-grade breakthrough elixirs. They managed to reach the peak of qi refining before the age of 60 mostly by relying on consuming pills. After contemplating for a moment, Lu Chongqing arrived at Blue Cloud Peak summit and silently commanded, "System, draw a prize." A light red virtual roulette wheel appeared, then it swiftly began spinning. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the cultivation technique, 5 Elements Union Sutra. The reward has been sent to system space. Host can view it anytime. A crystal-clear jade scroll pattern appeared, accompanied by the system notification sound. A 5 Elements technique? Lu Chongqing raised an eyebrow, looking towards the system space for the details of this cultivation technique. Cultivation technique, 5 Elements Union Sutra. Grade, Orthodox level. Description: the signature cultivation technique of the 5 Elements sect, circulating the 5 elements endlessly, gathering the great 5 elements wheel, 5 elements parasol, forming the 5 elements battle formations. Just a 5 elements technique. Lu Chongqing felt immediately disinterested upon seeing this cultivation technique. Although the family needs techniques to build up its foundation. At this stage, however, the family doesn't actually need such top-tier techniques. Instead, they need more advanced, exquisite level or even peripheral sect level techniques. Because it's too strenuous for cultivators with lower-grade spiritual roots to cultivate orthodox level techniques. Exquisite level techniques are more suitable for them. Even though the 7 luminaries' Great Freedom Sword scripture was divided into 7 exquisite level sword techniques. But currently, few of the Lu family disciples have the temperament compatible with the sword techniques. Therefore, Lu Chongxing has always wanted a few more techniques similar to the 7 luminaries' sword scripture. Inherit. Lu Changsheng's mental spirit stirred slightly and he applied the 5 Elements Union Sutra. Immediately, the content, key points and insights of this technique poured into Lu Changsheng's mind like enlightening nectar. After a long while, Lu Chongxing opened his eyes, his face filled with joy. Good, the system finally did well this time. Lu Chongxing was delighted. He had just been thinking about obtaining a few techniques like the 7 luminary sword scripture. Or the novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. And this 5 Elements Union Sutra indeed seems similar to the 7 luminaries sword scripture, containing 5 subsidiary techniques. They are Metal Light Essence Condensing Technique, Wood Armor Essence Condensing Technique, Heavy Water Essence Condensing Technique, Separation Fire Essence Condensing Technique, and Earth Solid Essence Condensing Technique. All these 5 techniques are exquisite level techniques. However, unlike most exquisite level techniques, these 5 can only be cultivated up to the foundation establishment stage with no hope of core formation. To break through to core formation, one must cultivate multiple techniques. According to the cycle of the 5 elements, where metal fosters water, water fosters wood, wood fosters fire, fire fosters earth, earth fosters metal. Cultivators of the Metal Light Essence Condensing Technique, after reaching foundation establishment, can dual cultivate Black Water Essence Condensing Technique, thereby enhancing their foundational essence. Once the Black Water Essence Condensing Technique reaches great success, they can then dual cultivate Wood Armor Essence Condensing Technique, to continue building their foundational essence. After dual cultivating 2 techniques, there's hope to break through to core formation. If one can cultivate all 5 techniques, forming a cycle of the 5 elements, this can significantly increase the likelihood of core formation. This is also the reason this technique makes advancing from qi refining to foundation establishment very easy, increasing the chance by 20 or 30% compared to ordinary techniques. But after reaching foundation establishment, trying to achieve core formation is as hard as ascending to heaven. Regarding core formation, with the 5 elements mana circulating, one can seamlessly switch to cultivating the 5 Elements Union Sutra. The 5 Elements sect created these 5 techniques, not only to lower the threshold of the technique so that more disciples can cultivate, but another reason is to enhance the collective combat power of the sect. After minor accomplishment in cultivating the 5 Elements Union Sutra, one can condense a 5 Elements wheel, forming a 5 Elements battle formation with cultivators who practice these 5 techniques. This kind of battle formation shares some similarities with the Daoist soldier battle formation. It could even be said that these 5 techniques are intended to train ordinary disciples as Dao soldiers, hence it's easier initially and more challenging later. If someone truly has extraordinary talent and manages to cultivate all 5 techniques to break through to core formation, the sect will naturally be willing to invest heavily in their training. Although it's almost impossible to achieve core formation while cultivating these 5 techniques, the probability of breaking through to foundation establishment from qi refining is increased by 20 or 30% compared to ordinary techniques. Even those with low-quality spiritual roots, as long as they cultivate these 5 techniques and have the aid of foundation establishment elixirs, have a 50 to 60% chance of breaking through to foundation establishment. Lu Chongxing took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. This technique's advantages and disadvantages are very clear. It sacrifices the later stages for the sake of the earlier stages. Unless one has extraordinary talent and great fortune, it's nearly impossible to cultivate all 5 techniques and break through to core formation. Usually, those with such talent would not choose to cultivate these kinds of techniques. Great 5 Elements Wheel, 5 Elements Battle Formation. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1193. I've heard that when an invasion war breaks out in the cultivation world, The immortal sects would train loose cultivators and family forces, teaching them battle formations, enabling loose cultivators to form battle formations to enhance their combat strength. Lu Chongqing muttered to himself. As for battle formations, he had only heard about them and had a rough understanding, not clear on the details. Now through this 5 Elements Union Sutra, he had gained a bit more insight. Ordinarily, a foundation establishment cultivator would have no chance of defeating a nascent soul immortal. However, a foundation establishment cultivator who cultivates the 5 Elements Union Sutra, when joined by a dozen or so cultivators practicing the 5 associated cultivation techniques to form a 5 elements battle formation, combining all their mana, might possibly contend with nascent soul immortals. If they encounter a nascent soul immortal without magical treasures or divine skills, or perhaps even a false core, it's not impossible for a reversal where foundation establishment defeats core formation. These 5 cultivation techniques can be placed in the Sutra Pavilion of the family as a priority choice for those with low-quality spiritual roots. Lu Chongqing looked at the vast misty Bai Shui Lake and exhaled lightly. Core formation was, barring a miracle, an extremely remote possibility even for those with middle-grade spiritual roots, let alone low-quality ones. While cultivating this technique might sever the path to core formation, at least it would increase the odds of foundation establishment. If one can't succeed at foundation establishment, then what's the point of even talking about core formation? Moreover, Lu Chongqing never felt that just by his being there, all his children could break through to foundation establishment. Even though the family isn't short on foundation establishment elixirs now, he couldn't possibly give every child multiple chances at foundation establishment. After one attempt, if foundation establishment fails, they need to rely on their efforts and performance. After all, not lacking foundation establishment elixirs doesn't mean the family has enough spirit stones for everyone to spend without limit. Besides his own children, grandchildren are also starting to cultivate and they too need resources. He can't support everyone fully. Nor does he have the capability or the time and energy. I wonder how this 5 Elements Union Sutra compares to the legacy technique of the 5 Elements Royal Family. At this moment, Lu Chongqing suddenly thought of the 5 Elements Royal Family, one of the 3 nascent soul great clans in the Jiang country. The core formation old ancestor of the Wang family had once shaken the Jiang country with the name of the 5 Elements. If someone in my family is born with a 5 Elements physique and cultivates this 5 Elements Union Sutra, wouldn't the name of the 5 Elements fall to my Lu family in the future? Lu Chongqing stroked his chin, finding the idea of someone in his family shaking the world with the technique and magical powers of the 5 Elements quite amusing. Though if that day does come, I reckon the name of the 5 Elements Royal Family would no longer exist. Lu Chongqing chuckled lightly and shook his head. The 5 Elements Royal Family is in decline now. He had heard that ever since the elder ancestor of the Su family devastated their sect, their prestige plummeted. Over the years, the family's territory has been gradually encroached upon by other forces. He guessed once the core formation old ancestor of the Wang family dies, the entire family might struggle to maintain its status as a great clan. Lu Chongqing went to check on his children's medicinal bath progress in the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. Lu Pingon was still undergoing the medicinal bath initiation, hoping to directly break through to the 8th level of the 100 Refinements treasure body art through it. Lu Lingxiao had a very solid foundation and was still refining his body through the medicinal bath initiation. Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, Lu Qingsong, and Lu Xingqian had already finished their medicinal bath initiation. Such medicinal bath initiations aren't necessarily better the longer they last. After reaching a certain limit, it becomes difficult to absorb more of the medicinal properties. Even more so, accumulating too much medicinal energy in the body that cannot be refined could damage oneself. Who will go first? Lu Chongqing looked at his children in front of him and asked aloud. To ensure his children successfully reach foundation establishment, he would naturally lend a hand with his yin-yang origin source. But the recovery of the yin-yang origin source takes time. Therefore, foundation establishment can't be done all at once. It needs to be done one by one. The 4 looked at each other before Lu Qingsong stepped forward and said solemnly, "Father, let me go first." "Good." Lu Chongqing glanced at Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, who were still somewhat nervous, and nodded. Siege Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. He then handed a top-grade foundation establishment elixir to Lu Qingsong. even though the latter had foundation establishment elixirs given by Lu Qingshan. But those were ordinary elixirs. And as a father he couldn't just stop providing them because his son had elixirs of his own. Thank you, father. Lu Qingsong took the foundation establishment elixir, sat cross-legged, began adjusting his condition, getting ready for foundation establishment. You can watch from the side. Lu Chongxing looked at Lu Yun and the other two and said aloud. Yes, father. The three nodded in response. Although they knew the process of foundation establishment by heart, they still wanted to see how others performed foundation establishment and the details of the process as their turn approached. So just like that, time ticked by. Lu Qingsong quietly adjusted himself. This time was quite dull. Lu Chongxing did not wait by his side but went to accompany his wives and concubines. Just asking Mount Sumeru to notify him once Lu Qingsong passed the 3 challenges of foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1194. Lu Family Mansion. Husband, during these days a total of 3 people have come to refine foundation establishment elixirs. One of them is a loose cultivator named Luo Qing, and we are still verifying his identity information. The other 2 are from the Yen family fort and the Pashan gang of the 5 Peaks market. Lu Miaoyun reported the recent family affairs to Lu Chongxing. 3 of them, it seems they all have hidden their tracks well. Lu Chongxing laughed softly upon hearing these words. He had thought it would take half a year or so before someone would come looking to have elixirs refined. Unexpectedly, 3 people had come knocking so quickly. If the reputation and word of mouth are fully established, his family can earn a fortune by refining foundation establishment elixirs. The Yen family fort can be given priority for arrangements. Once someone in their family achieves foundation establishment, they can help us by spreading the word. Lu Chongxing continued, what kind of force is this Pashan gang? He was aware of the Yen family fort, a family force with 2 foundation establishment cultivators. But he had never heard of the Pashan gang. The Pashan gang is a loose cultivators guild in the 5 Peaks market. The leader is called Chu Kuang, a foundation establishment cultivator. The guild members are all loose cultivators who make a living by hunting demon beasts. Lu Miaoyun, with a gentle and graceful appearance, said softly. I see. Lu Chongxing nodded slightly. Such forces like the Pashan gang can be accepted for refining foundation establishment elixirs, but we will not provide a breakthrough cultivation site for them. He had a rough understanding of forces like the Pashan gang. They claim to unite for warmth, to team up to slay demons. But with such a group gathered, daily killings and robberies, including foul plays among themselves, may not be uncommon. Thus, offering them a cultivation site to break through to foundation establishment could invite unnecessary trouble. See Teach Novel Fire. Net ** website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Miaoyun replied softly. At this time, Lu Chongxing thought of the 2 inferior grade foundation establishment elixirs refined by Li Xingruo and summoned his son Lu Xingyang. A moment later, Lu Xingyang arrived in the main hall. He appeared to be in his 30s, dressed in a green robe with a refined and gentle demeanor and greeted with a clasped fist. This son has seen father and all the lady mothers. Xingyang, how much time is left until the Red Leaf Valley market auction? Lu Chongxing inquired. Father, there are 7 months left. Lu Xingyang replied immediately. 7 months. Upon hearing this, Lu Chongxing tapped his fingers lightly on the armrest, saying, since that's the case, you should prepare well for this auction, release some information to hint that there will be a foundation establishment elixir at the auction. Although the news of refining foundation establishment elixirs had been released, many forces were still observing. Therefore Lu Chongxing thought about striking while the iron was hot, adding fuel to the fire. This would not only attract those who were hesitant. It would also increase the traffic of the Red Leaf Valley market, enabling the sale of the family's inferior and common foundation establishment elixirs at a good price. Foundation establishment elixir? Lu Xingyang was slightly surprised when he heard this. As the patriarch of the Lu family, he was naturally privy to many secrets of the family. But still, he was surprised to hear about auctioning a foundation establishment elixir. After all, aside from the 3 great immortal cities, only top-tier marketplaces like the Qingyun market would possibly have foundation establishment elixirs. Ordinary marketplaces could not possibly have such elixirs. Yes, just one inferior-grade foundation establishment elixir. You can arrange the rest yourself, Lu Chongqing said. Foundation establishment elixirs are considered a strategic resource. Even if it is an inferior-grade elixir, he would sell no more than one. The next one he plans to offer for sale in a few years, or see if it's possible to exchange it for some rare heavenly and earthly treasures from someone else. Father, if such news is put out, it might attract some ill-intentioned people that could impact the market's public order and stability. Lu Xingyang said this. If a foundation establishment elixir is to be the finale of the auction, then the event must be organized well and prepared thoroughly. But if the scale is elevated, given the current state of Red Leaf Valley Market, it would be difficult to maintain public order. Regarding public order, go find your sister Wang Shu and tell her not to run around these days. She should stay put at Red Leaf Valley Market. And in a few months, the family will arrange for others to be stationed at the marketplace as well. After pondering for a while, Lu Chongqing continued. Although his daughter Lu Wangshu had only been at Foundation establishment for a little over a year, her life-bound divine talisman was already condensed, and with the profound origin bead, the 99 mysterious true strategy, alongside second-rank and third-rank talismans, she could fight even those in Foundation establishment late stage, or even bombard them to death with Talisman C tactics. So with this daughter stationed in Red Leaf Valley Market, their combat power was entirely sufficient. Moreover, with Lu Muping presiding over Red Leaf Valley Market, if any problems arose, Bihu Lake Mountain and Qingzhou Mountain could rush there at a moment's notice. Sister Wang Shu. Upon hearing this, Lu Xingyang's heart skipped a beat. He always felt that this sister was not so reliable. But since his father said so, he naturally had no objections and clasped his fist. Understood, your son will make the arrangements. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. During this time, Lu Chongqing mostly focused on procreation. But it was very difficult to bear offspring after core formation. Even with the 5 aggregates proliferation method, only one concubine was currently carrying a child. It's really not easy to have children after core formation. Lu Chongqing shook his head and sighed. At the beginning, when he just achieved core formation, he also had relations with his wives and concubines. But he did not pay much attention to it at the time. Now, after a month of focus and effort in this area, to have only conceived one child, truly made Lu Chongqing shake his head. Without bloodline talent, I suppose a nascent soul immortal wishing to have a child would need to prepare for several years. Lu Chongqing thought to himself, feeling that if this were the case, being able to conceive so quickly was already quite fortunate. That time with Nangong Meili was simply a stroke of amazing luck. Master. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1195. Just at this moment, the voice of Mount Sumeru rang in Lu Changsheng's mind, indicating that Lu Qingsong had already passed the 3 challenges of foundation establishment and was preparing to condense his Dao foundation. Good. Upon hearing this, Lu Chongqing immediately went to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Lu Miaoge and Lu Miaohuan were also in the Cave Heaven, paying close attention to Lu Qingsong's condition. Husband, father. Upon seeing Lu Chongqing, they immediately called out to him. Lu Chongqing nodded with a smile, then turned his gaze to Lu Qingsong, who was in the process of making his breakthrough in foundation establishment. Through the spiritual pressure vortex surrounding Lu Qingsong's body, Lu Chongqing could tell that even if his son successfully established his foundation, the chances were high for a bedrock shatter foundation. This made him sigh inwardly. In his earlier years, he had given Lu Qingsong quite a number of elixir medicines and heavenly and earthly treasures to solidify his foundation. When Lu Qingshan and Lu Qingzhu returned, they also gave him many valuable items, but the effects on his foundation establishment were still far from ideal. It could only be said that this son's talent was lacking, as were his innate abilities and comprehension, and then he spent too much time on various affairs. Mount Sumeru. Lu Chongqing called out, signaling Mount Sumeru to stabilize the nature's spiritual energy. Then he activated the Yin-Yang creation scripture, and from his Qi ocean core where the Yin-Yang great path golden core spiraled, a Yin-Yang fish emerged in his palm. Qingsong, concentrate your spirit, give your all to foundation establishment. Lu Chongqing spoke with a grave voice, infusing the yin-yang source into his son's body. Boom! The moment this yin-yang energies entered Lu Qingsong's body, his elixir lake in the Qi ocean core boiled furiously, the spiritual pressure around his body surged violently, and he displayed an expression of agony. Fortunately, Mount Sumeru was there to help him stabilize the nature's spiritual energy. Otherwise, the spiritual energy drawn by this spiritual pressure would have exceeded the limits his body could withstand. With such poor innate foundation, not only is the effect of the yin-yang source hard to fully manifest, it could even backfire. Lu Chongqing inwardly sighed. Back in the day, Lu Wangshu improved his Dao foundation with the help of this yin-yang source. But for Lu Qingsong, it was an unbearable burden. It could only be said that as he made his breakthrough to core formation, the potency of the yin-yang source was far too intense for ordinary people to bear. At least a without-flaw foundation is needed for the effects of this yin-yang source to be fully brought out. Lu Chongqing murmured in his heart, his divine sense focusing on his son's foundation establishment progress. Then he placed his palm on his shoulder, using the yin-yang source as a medium to help him condense his Dao foundation. Just like this, time slowly passed. Half a month later, inside Lu Qingsong's Qi ocean core, a Dao foundation covered in cracks slowly took shape. The Dao foundation radiated dazzling halos, bathing Lu Qingsong's body, making his physique glisten, suffused with the spiritual pressure of foundation establishment. Success. Foundation establishment succeeded. The nearby Lu Miaoge, Lu Miaohuan, Lu Yun, and others all showed excited expressions as if inspired. Yet in his heart Lu Chongqing sighed. S.E.A. The Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. In the past he always criticized others for their lackluster foundation establishment. Now his own children, one by one, had become what he once deemed unworthy of foundation establishment. Like Lu Qingsong, if it weren't for his help, it's feared that the Dao foundation might have collapsed halfway through its condensation. If only he was a bit more capable, he could have condensed an imperfect foundation, rather than a bedrock shatter foundation. Father. Lu Qingsong opened his eyes, his face full of joy, but he looked at Lu Chongqing with a hint of shame. During the foundation establishment process, he was acutely aware of the several times his Dao foundation nearly collapsed and he almost failed the breakthrough. It was entirely due to his father using the yin-yang fish to forcefully condense his Dao foundation. Hee, not bad, my Lu family has gained another foundation establishment cultivator. A cause for celebration indeed. Lu Chongqing was not inclined to blame his son and said with a cheerful smile. After all, who wouldn't want to execute a foundation establishment well and condense a perfect foundation base? But with one's talent and capabilities being limited, one cannot ask for too much. Qingsong, congratulations on your breakthrough in foundation establishment. Congratulations, my son, on your foundation establishment. Congratulations, brother Qingsong. The people nearby voiced their congratulations. Regardless of the type of foundation base, making a breakthrough in foundation establishment is a joyous event worthy of celebration. Thank you, mother, aunt. Lu Qingsong said, then turned towards Lu Yun and the others to say, I merely went first. I wish you all an early congratulations on your successful foundation establishment, brother Yun, sister Caizhen, Xingchen, Lingxiao. Qingsong, you've just broken through, solidify your realm well. Lu Chongqing said gently. For a without flaw or perfect foundation base, once the breakthrough is made and the realm is stable, one only needs to consolidate it briefly. For such a bedrock shatter foundation base which has just been broken through, it's important not to feel too excited or too saddened, not to use mana hastily and to spend more time stabilizing the realm. Yes, father. Lu Qingsong nodded and quickly closed his eyes, running his cultivation technique, quietly experiencing the transformation and metamorphosis of breaking through the Dao foundation. Lu Chongqing also looked at the others, asking who would be the next to go. The four of them had already decided that Lu Lingxiao would be next. Immediately, Lu Lingxiao began his attempt at foundation establishment. He was already well prepared. After a brief moment of gathering his breath, he started the breakthrough process. The 3 challenges of foundation establishment were naturally a walk in the park for Lu Lingxiao. Previously, it took Lu Qingsong nearly a month to adjust his state and pass the 3 challenges of foundation establishment. Lu Lingxiao only took a day. This efficiency left Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen, and Lu Xingchen feeling somewhat dazed. They realized that the difference between people can sometimes be even greater than the difference between humans and monkeys. Huff, huff, huff. After passing the 3 challenges of Foundation establishment, a surging tide of nature's spiritual energy converged towards Lu Lingxiao, forming a massive spiritual energy vortex. This spiritual energy vortex was 10 times that of Lu Qingsong's. No wonder there's such a big gap between Foundation establishment cultivators. Lu Caixin murmured softly. She knew there were differences in quality among Foundation establishments, but she didn't have a clear understanding before. Now, witnessing the process of Foundation establishment for both Lu Qingsong and Lu Lingxiao, she had a clear realization of it. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1196. Ling Xiao is a spiritual body, so his foundation differs from ordinary people. Lu Chongxing spoke to his children beside him, to prevent them from being disheartened. Spiritual body? No wonder. Upon hearing this, everyone's faces showed sudden enlightenment. People like Lu Xingqian and Lu Lingxiao had not participated in the ceremony to measure the spiritual roots. Therefore, even among brothers and sisters, discussions about the talent of spiritual roots were rare. Mount Sumeru. Lu Chongxing called out, asking Mount Sumeru to enhance the infusion of nature's spiritual energy into Lu Lingxiao. Then he injected the newly regenerated yin-yang source into Lu Lingxiao's body. In comparison to Lu Qingsong, Lu Lingxiao possessed a robust foundation and second-order body refining capabilities, fully capable of withstanding the beneficial effects of this origin source. Despite this, Lu Lingxiao's sharply contoured face still showed an expression of pain. His muscles glowed with a slow burn of black fire, and the dragon roar of yang energy surged. This is what is truly called Foundation establishment. Watching his son in this state, Lu Chongxing nodded slightly in his heart. Knowing his son Lu Lingxiao's foundation, he understood that without much interference from himself, he could condense a perfect foundation base. 3 days later. Boom. Suddenly, a torrential and boundless surge of qi blood vitality flowed within Lu Chongxing, causing a rhythmic throb in his entire body, and his 100 refinements treasure body art seemed to start autonomously, breaking through to the 10th layer. Search * the oval fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongxing knew this was because his son Lu Pinggan's 100 refinements treasure body art had broken through the 8th level, which caused his own 100 refinements treasure body art, which was already on the verge of a breakthrough, to start breaking through autonomously. He immediately asked Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao to look after Lu Lingxiao. He, on a whim, needed to enter closed-door cultivation for a while. Alright, I'll take care of Ling Xiao here. Go, my lord. Lu Miaoge and Ling Zixiao immediately nodded in agreement. The inspirations of cultivators were mysterious and unpredictable. They could appear at any time. Capturing such moments could be very beneficial. Lu Chongxing went to the Chongxing Hall within his own cave mansion, unleashed his physical restraint, and let the 100 refinements treasure body art operate autonomously. Roll, roll, roll. In a brief moment within the cave mansion, endless resplendent treasure light erupted, like a volcanic explosion, shooting out from Lu Changsheng's body. The cave heaven power from Mount Sumeru isolated this burst of physical vitality for Lu Chongxing. Otherwise, this commotion alone could flip over the Chongxing Hall, affecting Lu Qingsong outside, who was consolidating his realm, and Lu Lingxiao, who was making a breakthrough in foundation establishment. Roll, roll, roll. The qi blood roared and surged, growling incessantly like thunderbolts from the 9 heavens, exploding, rolling out and submerging the entire cave mansion. Lu Chongxing could clearly see his own qi blood glowing with a golden luster, converging into his lower dantian like myriad rivers joining the sea. Then, like a pillar of a rainbow, it surged toward the middle dantian and upper dantian, causing the omnipotent and boundless dragon essence energy to hover over his head. His entire being resembled a primordial true dragon roaring, shrouded in a tide-like surge of qi blood and vitality. Clang, clang, clang. Sounds like a symphony of golden iron and horses resonated from within Lu Changsheng's body, organs producing melodious harmonies like heavenly music, bones and meridians continuously reforged under the hammering. Congratulations to the host on 10 offspring breaking through to the foundation establishment stage, obtaining bloodline effect, offspring's spiritual body inheritance rate increased by 1%, and receiving one advanced level lottery chance. In the midst of this process, Lu Chongqing faintly heard a system notification. But he paid no attention to it, focusing solely on breaking through the 100 refinements treasure body art. Although his physical body had already reached the limit for a breakthrough, this process still required some time. Time ticked away. After half a month, Lu Changsheng's eyes opened as if they contained the rotation of the sun and the moon, emitting two divine beams. His body appeared flawless, his muscles gleaming and revealing a robust physique. Standing up, a layer of golden powder fell off his body. This was the impurity expelled during the breakthrough process. But such impurities could even be used to refine magic artifacts. Lu Chongqing, feeling the immense increase in divine power throughout his body, extended his hand and pressed it towards the void. Bang! With a muffled sound, space slightly collapsed. Every breakthrough in body refinement brings an indescribable sense of fulfillment and security. A faint smile appeared on Lu Changsheng's face. Although he knew the 10th layer of 100 refinements treasure body art wouldn't cause a qualitative change in his strength, the feeling of being filled with power from head to toe, invincible and robust, was quite delightful. After tidying up his robes and casting a cleansing technique, Lu Chongqing walked out of the cave mansion. At that moment, thump, 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 Lu Chongqing suddenly heard a crisp and rhythmic knocking sound. Where is this sound coming from? Lu Chongqing was slightly startled. The next instant he remembered he had picked up a daughter whom he had forgotten for a while. He immediately went to the side hall and opened the crystal coffin. "Daddy!" Binger heard Lu Chongqing approaching, immediately came out of the coffin, revealing about half of her head, looking at him with clear, flawless eyes, seemingly saying she had slept enough and it had been a long time. "Binger, Daddy was a bit busy with some things," Lu Chongqing said apologetically, picking Binger out of the coffin. "It's okay, Binger was waiting for Daddy." Binger held on to Lu Chongqing like a little kitten, her beautiful eyes slightly squinted, snuggling into his arms, delicately sniffing with a look of comfort. Lu Chongqing looked at Binger, who was so close to him, with an expression of helplessness. He felt that he could not always let Binger sleep in the coffin, nor did he have the heart to do so. Binger's temperament seems like it will get along with Linger and Xiaohe, right? Lu Chongqing thought to himself, feeling it was necessary for Binger to blend into the family. This way, when he was unavailable, she could look for Bai Ling or Lu Lingyi to play. "Binger, later I'll introduce you to a few sisters. When you're bored you can go and play with them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 1197. Lu Chongqing rubbed the little head of the other party and spoke. Binger will listen to Daddy." Binger replied with an obedient and sensible expression on her face. Lu Chongqing left Chongqing Hall with Binger. Lu Lingxiao and Lu Qingsong were consolidating their realms. Lu Yun, Lu Caizhen and Lu Xingchen were sitting in meditation, stabilizing their state. "Yuner, Caizhen, you two break through together." Lu Chongqing looked at his three children and said aloud. From the situation of Lu Qingsong just now, he could see that one of them simply couldn't withstand the yin-yang source. It would be better to split the yin-yang source in two and affect both of them at the same time. "Yes, Daddy." The two of them, hearing this, nodded and began to prepare for foundation establishment. Lu Chongqing then left Chongqing Hall and went to the back mountain of Baiyun Peak to find his son, Lu Pingon. At this time, Lu Pingon was taming a silver-winged golden falcon. "Daddy." Upon seeing Lu Chongqing and Binger, Lu Pingon immediately called out. However, he was slightly surprised seeing Binger. He had never seen her before and felt that she didn't seem to have a marital relationship with his father. "Emichung." Lu Chongqing nodded slightly, glanced at the silver-winged golden falcon and said, "This silver-winged golden falcon can be used for traveling, but at this stage try to avoid using it for battles in public places." Although as an Earth-grade lower demon beast, the silver-winged golden falcon wasn't particularly rare. But after all, it was stolen loot, and Lu Chongqing thought it necessary to remind his son to be cautious. Lu Pingon was taken aback. Looking at the beast control token in his hand, and then at the silver-winged golden falcon, he immediately understood that this spiritual beast was probably obtained by his father from others and was considered stolen loot. "I understand." Lu Pingon nodded in response. Although he knew that his father's behavior outside should not be as mild and refined as it appeared. But in his heart such a gentlemanly image of his father fighting and brawling with others felt very bizarre. Xianxia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Daddy, I plan to set off with the trading caravan in half a month. Lu Pingon spoke out. He had already set the date, but because of the delay due to practicing the 100 Refinements treasure body art, he wanted to set out as soon as possible. Good, be careful on the road, and if you encounter danger, there's no need to keep hiding your strength. Lu Chongqing said with a smile. In his words he handed a stone bead to Lu Pingon and said, "This bead has the effect of distinguishing truth from falsehood. During your trading journey if you encounter items you can't discern, you can rely on this bead. Right, you should also take this seeking spirit mouse with you. It can sense any treasures along the way." Lu Chongqing passed the seeking spirit mouse to his son. This seeking spirit mouse now held no use for him, having it with the caravan could serve some purpose. Seeking spirit mouse? Treasure-seeking mouse? Lu Pingon looked at the huge golden mouse in front of him, paused and said, "Daddy, can this seeking spirit mouse be used in public places?" Lu Chongqing watched his son for a moment and said, "This seeking spirit mouse can be used, but be a bit more careful with this stone bead." Lu Pingon fell silent and securely put away the bead. After Lu Chongqing finished giving instructions to Lu Pingon, he went to the Lu family mansion. At this moment Ling Zixiao brought her daughter Lu Lingyi to Lu Chongqing, indicating that Xiaohe wanted to go on the trading journey with Lu Pingon. And her son Lu Lingxiao also had this idea. So Ling Zixiao planned to join this trading journey herself to look after the two children. After all, she really wasn't at ease with her daughter going so far away. And Lu Lingxiao, now grown up, had only ever been active in the surrounding area. This trading journey was a good opportunity to broaden his experience and knowledge. Good. Lu Chongqing looked at his wife before him, thought for a moment and then replied with a smile. "With you Zixiao accompanying them on this trading journey, I am much more at ease." Although his son Lu Lingxiao had just broken through to foundation establishment and should concentrate on cultivating techniques at home to master the foundation establishment technique. But with his son having this idea and his wife speaking up, Lu Chongqing naturally wouldn't refuse. Moreover, it was indeed necessary for his children to go out more and broaden their horizons and experiences. This trading journey was a good chance for Lu Lingxiao to gain experience. With Ling Zixiao looking after them, Lu Chongqing was very relieved, even more so about the journey itself. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1198. While Lu Chongqing was chatting with Ling Zixiao, Lu Lingyi, looking at Binger who stood next to Lu Chongqing with a delicate and dreamy appearance, asked aloud, "What's your name? How come I've never seen you before?" "My name is Binger." Binger looked at Lu Lingyi in front of her, unafraid of strangers, her voice tender and pleasant. "Binger? My name is Lu Lingyi, you can call me Xiaohe." Lu Lingyi was very outgoing and could chat with anyone on a regular day. Upon hearing that Binger was also her father's daughter, she was quite surprised. She immediately turned to Lu Chongqing to ask whether this was an older sister or a younger sister. When Lu Chongqing heard this question, he was actually puzzled by it. Seeing the naive and innocent look on Binger's face, he laughed and said, "She is a younger sister. Xiaohe, you must take good care of her." "Okay." Lu Lingyi immediately nodded in agreement, wanting to take Binger to play. "Daddy." Binger, holding on to Lu Chongqing's wrist, had eyes filled with longing and reluctance to part. "Binger is still a bit shy. It would be good for you to interact more often." Lu Chongqing spoke softly. He knew Binger wasn't actually shy. She simply had just woken up and couldn't bear to leave him. This situation required a period of adaptation. "Daddy." Seeing this, Lu Lingyi also puffed her cheeks, holding on to Lu Chongqing's wrist, wanting him to accompany her to play. All right. Lu Chongqing thought about how Lu Yun and Lu Caizhen would take at least half a month to go from foundation establishment to passing the third stage of foundation establishment, and replied with a smile, deciding to take Lu Lingyi and Binger out for a walk. He also planned to visit his father-in-law Lu Yuanding in Qingzhou Mountain to see his son Lu Qingxian and daughter Lu Qingqi. When Lu Chongqing arrived at Qingzhou Mountain and saw the condition of his father-in-law Lu Yuanding, he sighed lightly. The other was now like a candle flickering in the wind, likely to burn out at any moment. However, the old man's spirits were somewhat lifted when he heard that Lu Chongqing planned to auction a Foundation establishment elixir at the Red Leaf Valley Market. 50 years ago, Qingzhou Mountain destroyed the Qin family of Red Leaf Valley and established the Red Leaf Valley Market. This market held much of his efforts. It could even be said that the Red Leaf Valley Market was a milestone for the Lu family of Qingzhou Mountain, a significant mark in the family's development process. 50 years had passed, and although the Red Leaf Valley Market had developed well, it was still only a medium-sized market. Now, auctioning a Foundation establishment elixir there would undoubtedly bring the market to an unprecedented prosperity. At this moment, a strong desire for survival surged in Lu Yuanding's heart. He wanted to see such glory at the Red Leaf Valley Market before passing away. Father-in-law, take good care of your health. I will come to pick you up when the time comes. Seeing this scene, Lu Chongqing took out various life-extending spiritual medicines from the storage ring, helping Lu Yuanding refine them. Given his condition, these life-extending spiritual medicines actually had limited effects. They could only help maintain his vitality as much as possible, hardly extending his life. Chongqing, you've gone to expense. Lu Yuanding's voice was old and weak. It was apparent that these spiritual medicines were not cheap. However, Lu Chongqing's abilities in refining these medicines' effects with his mana also astonished him, secretly thinking that his son-in-law was indeed not as simple as rumors suggested. Father-in-law, you are being too formal. Sar the novel, Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Chongqing smiled. Qingxian Qingqi. After the old man rested, Lu Chongqing also inquired about his children's conditions, asking them to look after Lu Yuanding more in the days to come, then took Binger and Lu Lingyi for a walk, returning to Bai Lake Mountain. Back home, Lu Chongqing asked his son Lu Xingyang to speed up the arrangements of the Red Leaf Valley Market auction. If possible, to also move up the schedule. He recalled how the Lu family ancestor before his death wanted to see the establishment of the Red Leaf Valley Market and its opening. But the old man ultimately died with regrets. Therefore, he did not want his own father-in-law to die with regrets as well. Yes. Although Lu Xingyang was unsure of what was happening, he still obediently responded. Later, Lu Chongqing went to Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, checked on Lu Yun and Lu Caizhen, who were starting their Foundation establishment, and talked about the situation of his father-in-law with Lu Miaoge. He asked her to visit Lu Yuanding more during this time. If Lu Miaoge could use her Tai True Water, Lu Yuanding should be able to endure until the auction begins. Okay. Lu Miaoge slightly pursed her lips, her expression somewhat downcast. Over the years she had always visited her father Lu Yuanding frequently. However, Lu Yuanding had told her to prioritize her cultivation and to go out alone as little as possible, so he gradually stopped letting her visit. Seeing his wife looking this way, Lu Chongqing immediately consoled her. Afterwards, Lu Chongqing arrived at the summit of Blue Cloud Peak, silently muttering to himself, "System draw." The advanced spinner appeared. Golden light spun around. Under Lu Chongqing's gaze, the golden light slowly stopped on the elixir reward section. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining Yin Yang Integration Spirit Pill. Reward has been added to the system space. The host can check at any time. Suddenly, an elixir bottle icon emerged from the large spinner, accompanied by a system notification sound. Yin Yang Integration Spirit Pill? Seeing this reward, Lu Chongqing raised his eyebrows, thinking of the melding spirit pill he had won in a draw years ago. Immediately his mental spirit stirred, looking towards the system's space. Yin Yang Integration Spirit Pill. Grade 5th rank. Description: the Yin Yang Integration Spirit Pill, consisting of a Yin and a Yang pill. When taken by a man the Yang pill and a woman the Yin pill, after 3 days of intimacy pregnancy is guaranteed, and the child's spiritual root talent is greatly enhanced. Guaranteed pregnancy greatly enhances talent. What a fine item. Lu Chongqing looked at the Yin Yang Integration Spirit Pill, instantly filled with excitement. Setting aside other aspects, just the grade of this elixir made Lu Chongqing feel it was extraordinary. Back in the day, a third-rank melding spirit pill had enabled Ling Zixiao to give birth to siblings Lu Lingxiao and Lu Lingyi. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1199. This 5th rank Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill, isn't it just like taking off directly? Especially after taking it, the couple would surely conceive after 3 days of intimacy, which made him think of Bai Ling. Bai Ling, that girl, has wanted to have a child for a long time. Lu Chongqing also wished to have a child with extraordinary talent with Bai Ling. However, no matter what, they just couldn't conceive. After breaking through to core formation, Lu Chongqing also tried, wondering if 2 negatives could make a positive and thus achieve a direct hit to the soul. But while the idea was beautiful, reality was cruel. No matter what positions they tried or even the 5 aggregates proliferation method, Bai Ling's belly simply did not respond. If it weren't for a medical examination showing no issue, Lu Chongqing would have suspected there were problems with his body. I'll try it with that girl Bai Ling later. Lu Chongqing contemplated in his heart, deciding to take this Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill with Bai Ling. Aside from the continued lack of pregnancy, Bai Ling's bloodline talent is also undoubtedly remarkable. Picked up by him in her early years, she didn't rely much on elixir medicines. Within just a short 15 years, she broke through to Foundation establishment and condensed the Black Dragon Dao Foundation. Now, after 31 years in Foundation establishment, her cultivation level is at the 6th layer. This sort of cultivation talent is hardly any less than that of a first-grade spiritual root. It's just that after so many years, Bai Ling's personality has not improved much. She is still timid and weak, very introverted, and barely noticeable on normal days. Other than cultivating, her daily life involved nurturing Black Dragon Daoist soldiers and Bai Shui Lake's spiritual beasts, or occasionally taking care of the children, and she hardly ever went out. 2 days later, Lu Chongqing looked at Lu Xian, who had passed through the 3 stages of Foundation establishment, and infused part of the Yin-Yang source into her body, helping her to condense her Dao Foundation. 2 days later, Lu Yun also successfully passed the 3 stages of Foundation establishment and began to condense his Dao Foundation. At this time, the disparity between spiritual roots became clear. If you talk about the foundation, comprehension, and temperament, Lu Xian isn't much better than Lu Yun. Even in terms of temperament, after so many years, Lu Xian still behaves like a child and is nowhere near as steady as Lu Yun. However, during the Foundation establishment process, Lu Xian, with her 5th grade spiritual root, found the process much easier than Lu Yun. Of course, that was also because Lu Yun did not perform well. Despite being prepared for so long, he was still nervous and encountered stumbling blocks while condensing the Dao Foundation. Sigh. Seeing this, Lu Chongqing let out a deep sigh. He felt that if it went on like this, even with his own intervention, his son Lu Yun was likely to fail at Foundation establishment. Indeed, after Lu Chongqing forcibly condensed the Dao Foundation 3 times, Lu Yun's Dao Foundation still dispersed. While Lu Chongqing could continue to help him forcibly condense the Dao Foundation, Lu Yun's physical body, meridians, and dantian had already reached their limits. If he continued the condensation in case of failure, it would damage his meridians and dantian. Faced with this situation, Lu Chongqing stabilized his son's condition and released all the nature's spiritual energy from the Qi Ocean core to avoid any harm to his son's body in case the Foundation establishment failed. Father. Lu Yun's face was somewhat pale, filled with shame. 5 people in the family were undergoing Foundation establishment. Lu Qingsong and Lu Lingxiao had already succeeded in Foundation establishment. Lu Xian, judging by the looks of it, should be able to succeed. The remaining Lu Xingqian, without even thinking, one could tell that he definitely would succeed in Foundation establishment. Except for himself, who failed at Foundation establishment. Especially just now during the Foundation establishment process, where his Dao Foundation collapsed and his father helped to condense it, going back and forth 3 times. Yet even in such a situation he still failed, which truly made him feel utterly ashamed. It's just a failure in Foundation establishment, there's no need to take it so to heart. Lu Chongqing said to his son in a gentle voice. This son had been the family head for many years and had become much more stable. But at his core he was still someone lacking decisiveness and self-confidence. The bigger the event, the more it showed. Father's words are true. Search *, the novel Fire. Any *, T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Yun lowered his head in agreement. You should know the cultivation technique your mother cultivated, right? Lu Chongqing looked at his son and said thoughtfully. Although failing at foundation establishment first time provides experience, making the next attempt more likely to succeed, such things in the end depend on the individual. People with a poor mentality, having failed once, may face even greater pressure the next time and might even become fearful. As Lu Chongqing saw it, his son Lu Yun was very likely to end up in this situation. And this son was indeed getting on in years. After he recovers, he probably only has one more chance at foundation establishment. So rather than that, it might be better to let him follow the path of the heavenly longevity technique now. The child knows, mother's cultivation technique is called the heavenly longevity technique. Lu Yun replied softly upon hearing this. In my hands are a few heaven and earth spiritual plants, choose one later and cultivate this technique. How does that sound? Lu Chongqing spoke. Although this son was disappointing, he still watched him grow up from a young age and had high hopes for him. Moreover, over the years this son had been diligent and didn't make any major mistakes, making quite a contribution to the family. The child will follow father's arrangement. After a moment of silence, Lu Yun replied softly. Good, that's settled then, you should go back and rest properly now. Lu Chongqing patted his son's shoulder, smiled and indicated he shouldn't worry too much. Thank you, father. Lu Yun bowed and walked out of the Mount Sumeru cave heaven. At this time Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjun were outside the cave heaven. Yuner. When Lu Miaoyun saw her son Lu Yun looking like this, she immediately knew that her son had failed in foundation establishment. She didn't enter the cave heaven precisely because she was worried that her presence might pressure him and affect his foundation establishment. Unexpectedly, her son still failed at foundation establishment. Mother, I've disappointed you. Lu Yun said softly. From a young age, his mother had strictly taught him, had high expectations, but his abilities were limited, and his sensitive heart led to an increasingly self-effacing personality, constantly subservient in his actions. Later, though he became the family head with so many outstanding siblings in the family, he never got over his sense of sensitivity and inferiority. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1200. Felt that his role as the family head totally relied on his mother's connections. Thus, his personality did not improve. Instead, it became even more cautious and meticulous, fearing that his actions would disappoint his parents. You are just a 7th grade spiritual root and foundation establishment is difficult for you. Failure is normal. There will be more chances in the future, don't take it to heart. Lu Miaoyun had always known that her son's sensitive nature was related to her early teachings, and she felt somewhat guilty, softly comforting him. Father wants me to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique. Lu Yun spoke out. The heavenly longevity technique? When Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenjun heard this, they exchanged a look. They both cultivated this technique and naturally understood it very well, including its advantages and disadvantages. Yuner, what do you think yourself? Lu Miaoyun asked aloud. In her view, it was good for her son to be able to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique. Although after cultivating this technique, one cannot stray too far from their lifespan spiritual plant. But she believed her husband could resolve this issue in the future. Search * the novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. I will listen to father. Lu Yun spoke in a low voice. He was also unsure himself. Wanted to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, thereby attaining foundation establishment, and even potentially core formation. Yet he was also a bit lost, feeling unable to leave by Lake Mountain, and even if he attained foundation establishment or core formation, what would it really mean? He still remembered when his great-grandmother passed away. His mother couldn't visit and could only mourn alone. If he cultivated this technique, he might not have to experience parting in life or death with his parents. But he would likely watch as his wives and children passed away one by one beside him. After all, he was aware that the conditions for cultivating such a technique were extremely stringent. The choice given by his father was a sign of favoritism towards him, and he couldn't possibly take care of everyone. You rest well first. Later, mother will explain this technique to you in detail, and then you can think it over thoroughly. Knowing that her son had just failed in foundation establishment and was currently very troubled, Lu Miaoyun said softly. Thank you, mother. Lu Yun gave a formal bow and walked down from Baiyun Peak. At this time Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenzhen also entered the cave heaven. Chu Zhenzhen originally wanted to enter the cave heaven to check on her daughter's foundation establishment progress. But she was always close with Lu Miaoyun. If she went in to check on Lu Caizhen while Lu Miaoyun did not check on Lu Yun, it wouldn't look good, so the two waited outside. Husband. Husband. The two women arrived at cave heaven and called out upon seeing Lu Chongxing. Miaoyun Zhenzhen, you've arrived. Lu Chongxing called out with a smile. Then he discussed the matter of his son Lu Yun with Lu Miaoyun. It has been tough on you, husband. Lu Miaoyun said softly. Caizhen doesn't have any problems, she was able to achieve foundation establishment. Lu Chongxing told Chu Zhenzhen. With his help, as long as their children weren't of lower quality spiritual roots and didn't have too poor a mentality or foundation, they were very likely to succeed in foundation establishment. It has been tough on you, husband. Joy flickered in Chu Zhenzhen's eyes. 5 days later, Lu Caizhen successfully achieved foundation establishment. Her Dao foundation, like Lu Rui's, was just barely considered as with flaw. However, for these children, Lu Changsheng's standards weren't high. Foundation establishment was considered a success. Dad, Mom, Auntie. Lu Caizhen opened her eyes, her face joyful, very happy. She had never even considered foundation establishment in her early years. Felt that with her type of spiritual root, if she still harbored unrealistic hopes for foundation establishment, it was merely inviting trouble onto herself. Why not be happy every single day? But inadvertently she took the elixir medicines her brother gave to their mother, which advanced her spiritual root to middle grade, and she saw some hope for foundation establishment. It's just her lazy nature that, despite having a 5th grade spiritual root, she only reached the peak of qi refining and started challenging foundation establishment now. However, now that she has achieved foundation establishment, there's an indescribable joy in her heart. Caizhen, congratulations on your breakthrough to foundation establishment. Caizhen, congratulations. Lu Chongxing, Lu Miaoyun and Chu Zhenzhen congratulated their daughter. It's all thanks to you, Dad and Mom. Lu Caizhen's personality resembles her mother Chu Zhenzhen somewhat, characterized as laid-back and quite self-aware. After some brief chatting, Lu Chongxing asked Lu Caizhen to solidify her realm well. Then he called Lu Xingxian over to get ready, starting his foundation establishment in 3 days. Outside by Lake Mountain, a neatly arranged caravan of pack animals, pulling several compartments and stacks of storage boxes. After so much preparation, the Lu family caravan was finally ready to set off. Xiaohe, if you want to come home, just tell Mom and Daddy will come to pick you up. Lu Chongxing patted his little daughter's head and spoke. In his view, his daughter was following the business trip just for fun. Once the novelty wears off, she would likely get bored and want to come home. Daddy, you think I will give up halfway? Lu Lingyi was wearing a red warrior dress today, her usual buns turned into a high ponytail, looking lively and valiant. She was imitating the attire of other martial artists. Daddy will miss you, and if you miss Daddy, Daddy will come to see you. Lu Chongxing looked at his daughter's puffed cute cheeks, pinched them gently and chuckled. Daddy, I will miss you, and when I earn spirit stones, I'll buy you a gift. Lu Lingyi, with her eyebrows curved and face delicate, said adorably. Okay, when Xiaohe comes home, Daddy will also have a gift for you. Lu Chongxing said with a smile. Binger, I will bring you a gift too. Lu Lingyi then turned to Binger next to Lu Chongxing and spoke. During this time she had a great time with Binger, becoming playmates. The only regret was that Binger didn't want to join her on the business trip. Thank you, Xiaohe. Binger stepped forward and hugged Lu Lingyi. Hee. Lu Lingyi happily hugged her back. After bidding farewell to his daughter, Lu Chongxing asked Ling Zixiao, Lu Pingon, Lu Rui, and others to be cautious and to contact him immediately if something happened. Even so, Lu Chongxing was not at all worried about this business trip. With Ling Zixiao, Lu Lingxiao, Lu Lingyi, and Lu Chongxing himself not letting Lu Pingon bring the 9 Netherhound, he directly gave the 1,000 Faces puppet fox to Ling Zixiao. This would allow them to hold their ground even against a nascent soul immortal. Moments later, the pack animal caravan began its journey. This caravan, in addition to Ling Zixiao, Lu Pingon, Lu Lingxiao, Lu Rui, included 9 Lu family disciples, 3 Lu family disciples of Qingzhou Mountain, 12 apprentices of Bai Lake Mountain and 58 martial artists. Their route passed from Bai Lake Mountain through 9 Dragons Market, Green River Marketplace, Five Peaks Market, Qinyun Market, and other along-the-path marketplaces including various family forces. During the process they not only opened up trade routes and established partnerships, but they also enhanced their reputation and evaluated the market situations en route to acquire storefronts and set up business association strongholds. Originally, setting up business association strongholds was a plan for the future. However, since Lu Chongqing had gained a large amount of spirit stones and Ling Zixiao personally went on the journey, this task was handed over to Ling Zixiao to handle. I wonder how much resistance we'll encounter this time. Lu Chongqing, watching the gradually disappearing caravan, chuckled lightly. He was actually quite excited about these family forces coming to cause trouble, thus building his son Lu Pingan's renown. After all, a family can't solely depend on his and Lu Maiage's reputations to dominate. It should also have a few brave children to stand tall. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1201. Compared to the news of the Red Leaf Valley Market preparing to auction off Foundation establishment elixirs, the matters of the Lu family caravan did not attract too much attention. Only a few Foundation establishment clans and false core stage families such as the Jinlong Ridge Jin family showed interest in this matter. At this moment in Jinlong Ridge, Patriarch, the Lu family caravan has already set out, led by Lu Changsheng's wife Ling Zixiao and his eldest son Lu Pingan. A member of the Jin family reported this piece of news to the Patriarch of the Jin family, Ling Zixiao. Upon hearing this, the eyes of the Patriarch of the Jin family slightly narrowed. They had long probed and understood the strength of Lu Pingan. Initial stage of Foundation establishment. Second order middle stage body refinement. With a few spiritual artifacts, his combat power is comparable to the late stage of Foundation establishment. Compared to Lu Pingan, Ling Zixiao, the lady of the Lu family, made him feel more apprehensive. Because aside from seizing Bai Lake Mountain and suppressing Xiahou money years ago, Ling Zixiao rarely made public appearances. Her sudden departure now, especially in command of the Lu family caravan with Lu Pingan, made him feel wary and speculate about her strength. Little 4. Keep a constant watch on the Lu family caravan, and report back immediately with any updates, said the Patriarch of the Jin family in a deep voice. Afterward he convened a family meeting to inquire about others' views on this matter. Patriarch, are you saying that this caravan is led by Lu Changsheng's wife Ling Zixiao and Lu Pingan who oversees White Tiger Mountain? An imposing golden-robed elder slightly furrowed his brow and asked with a tone of surprise and uncertainty. Correct. The Patriarch of the Jin family nodded in response. Ha 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 ha. Upon hearing this, the golden-robed elder burst into loud laughter. Great Elder, why do you laugh so heartily? Someone saw this and asked the golden-robed elder. The original Great Elder of the Jin family was Jin Zan. But after Jin Zan's breakthrough to the false core level, he became the family's ancestor and no longer served as an elder. Thus, this golden-robed man was the current Great Elder of the Jin family. It's not that I'm laughing at somebody, I'm laughing at Lu Changsheng's reckless foolishness and arrogance. The golden-robed elder sneered and addressed the assembly in the council hall. I've heard the news. Lu Chongqing is planning to auction a Foundation establishment elixir in the Red Leaf Valley Market. By then, Bai Lake Mountain will definitely have to concentrate most of its efforts on maintaining stability at the Red Leaf Valley Market. Now, -2 Foundation establishment cultivators during this period, his Bai Lake Mountain, White Tiger Mountain and Monkey Hill will be left in a state of void strength. If we seize this opportunity to strike at White Tiger Mountain and Monkey Hill, we can surely inflict severe damage on his Bai Lake Mountain's vitality. Even if Bai Lake Mountain manages to boost the fame of the Red Leaf Valley Market through the auction, they will be overwhelmed with the troubles of White Tiger Mountain and Monkey Hill. The golden-robed elder shook his head and spoke. I think this Lu Chongqing has been too smooth sailing these years, thinking he has an unbreakable momentum, to the point where when he establishes a business association and caravan, he even holds a Foundation establishment elixir auction, truly believing no one dares make a move against his Bai Lake Mountain? Could there be any trickery in Lu Changsheng's usual cautious and low-profile actions? The seventh elder of the Jin family frowned and spoke up. A trick? What kind of trick could there be? Upon hearing this, the golden-robed elder coldly snorted. Indeed, Lu Chongqing is not ordinary, but we must not diminish our own prestige and bolster others' courage. Now that Ling Zixiao and Lu Pingon have left, how many Foundation Establishment members are left in his Lu family? Even if they still have Foundation Establishment cultivators hidden away, how many could there be? At most 1 or 2. Under such circumstances, he directed most of his focus on the Red Leaf Valley market, leaving no one to oversee White Tiger Mountain and Monkey Hill. Moreover, once the Red Leaf Valley market auction commences, it would be difficult for Lu Chongqing to provide timely support. If he dares to come alone, we can even take this opportunity to invite our ancestor to set up an ambush. The golden-robed elder spoke with a chilling light in his eyes. Lu Chongqing also has a Foundation Establishment Dao companion in the Qingyun sect, and a younger brother-in-law who is a Foundation Establishment cultivator named Xia Zhaoyang. Lu Chongqing sending out Ling Zixiao and Lu Pingon, he must have taken his precautions and may invite these two to come and support him. At this point, another elder of the Jin family spoke up. True, this Xia Zhaoyang holds a position as an executor in the Qingyun Sect's enforcement hall. If our family covertly makes a move and he learns of it, reporting it to the Qingyun Sect's enforcement hall would be very troublesome, the patriarch of the Jin family agreed, nodding. Although the great elder said not to crush our own prestige or boost the morale of others, siege novel. Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The patriarch of the Jin family had kept an eye on the situation of Lu Chongqing over the years and felt that the other party was not such a reckless person. If this won't do and that won't do, are we to just watch his by Lake Mountain rise? If this Red Leaf Valley market auction goes smoothly, our family's market will inevitably lose a lot of resident cultivators. Moreover, by Lu Chongqing taking out a Foundation Establishment elixir for auction at this time, he is clearly aiming to solidify the reputation and credibility of refining Foundation Establishment elixirs. If his by Lake Mountain monopolizes all the shares of refining Foundation Establishment elixirs in the Qingyun region, who could stop the rise of his by Lake Mountain? The great elder said, frustrated and disappointed. Considering themselves a false core family above the small by Lake Mountain, the fact that they were being so cautious and restrained made him feel extremely stifled. Great elder, please calm down. Though the plan is feasible, our family can't afford any more setbacks right now. We must deliberate long-term and proceed with caution. The patriarch of the Jin family spoke with a bitter smile. In the end, the meeting split into 2 factions. One faction advocated for taking decisive action, while the other suggested cautiously observing the situation of by Lake Mountain, slowly testing the waters and waiting for the right opportunity. Apart from the Jinlong Ridge Jin family, several other top-tier Foundation Establishment families and 5 false core families are also closely watching the situation of the Lu family caravan, ready to strike and suppress them. After all, the establishment of a business association by Lake Mountain is the same as stealing meat from their mouths. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1202. Since one wants to compete for resources, naturally one must possess sufficient strength. Although Lu Chongqing and Lu Miaoge currently have combat capabilities comparable to a false core immortal, they can be considered as such. However, when it comes to such matters, not only is the top-tier combat power important, but also the overall strength of the family. At least in the eyes of those false core stage families, by Lake Mountain is still not qualified to be listed alongside them. Even deep down they look down on by Lake Mountain with a degree of contempt and disdain. They think that a mere family that has risen only in the past few decades, without any foundation or heritage, is delusionally trying to compete with them. They plan to use this opportunity to give by Lake Mountain a harsh lesson, to let them continue to stay honestly and subserviently at by Lake Mountain. By Lake Mountain. Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven. Hoo. The spiritual energy of nature surges wildly, forming a vortex of spiritual energy. Lu Chongqing and Xia Zizhu watch from not far away as Lu Xingchen, seated in the lotus position, is in the midst of Foundation Establishment. This son has a 3rd-grade spiritual root, and he possesses decent talent in alchemy, preparing to follow the path of an alchemist. But at the current stage he is mainly focusing on cultivation, having just advanced to a 1st-grade high-quality alchemist. However, in terms of cultivation technique, he has already switched to practicing the Cauldron Medical King's scripture. After foundation establishment, he will be able to devote more time and energy to alchemy. After a long while. A flawless Dao foundation, not bad. Lu Chongsheng, looking at his son's condition, nods slightly. Although this son has a third-grade spiritual root, his talent and comprehension are only average, not much better than his son Lu Qingquan's foundation. A flawless Dao foundation is already the limit. Unless there is a great opportunity, there is no hope for a perfect foundation base. Father, mother. Lu Xingqian opens his eyes and calls out. With Lu Qingsong, Lu Lingxiao, and Lu Caizhen having established their foundations earlier, Lu Xingqian is not too excited at the moment, but simply filled with joy. After all, from a young age, they have been raised listening to the stories of foundation establishment ancestors and foundation establishment great cultivators. The greatest wish of the mother in the household is to hope that they will one day become foundation establishment great cultivators. Now breaking through to foundation establishment, there is bound to be a sense of joy. Xingqian, congratulations on your foundation establishment. Lu Chongxing says with a smile. Now that his son has broken through to foundation establishment, as long as he spends more time and effort on alchemy, he will be able to advance to the second-order alchemist. Xingqian, congratulations on your breakthrough to foundation establishment. Xia Zizhu, extremely excited at this moment, her eyes brimming with tears, cries with overwhelming joy. At one time, foundation establishment seemed unreachable to her. But now not only she but her younger brother Xia Zhaoyang has also broken through to foundation establishment. And her son Lu Xingqian has also achieved foundation establishment. Once her daughter Lu Xingyue returns from her sect mission, she also has a chance to hit foundation establishment. Her son Lu Xingyang, with a 5th-grade spiritual root, as long as he cultivates diligently, also holds the potential for foundation establishment in the future. With 2 other children, each with a 4th and 5th-grade spiritual root, there is hope for foundation establishment in the future as long as they cultivate diligently. At this moment, she feels her life is complete. Zizhu, Xingqian could achieve today's breakthrough thanks to your years of caring and teaching. You have worked hard. Lu Chongxing holds Xia Zizhu's hand and says softly. Husband, it's not hard work. Being able to meet you is the luckiest thing in Zizhu's life. Xia Zizhu says softly with teary eyes, her heart filled with deep affection and gratitude for Lu Chongxing. She knows that without Lu Chongxing, it would be difficult for her and her younger brother to have such a life today. Xingqian, you work on consolidating your realm, Lu Chongxing tells his son, then goes to properly comfort Xia Zizhu. Xia Zizhu, with a spirit-nurturing physique, now that he has achieved core formation, it's possible that her 6th child might bring a few surprises. Several days later. After consoling Xia Zizhu, Lu Chongxing goes to find Bai Ling at Bai Shui Lake. Planning to spend some quality time with the girl Bai Ling next, and also to use the yin-yang integration spirit pill. Daddy. Binger, who was left in Bai Ling's care by Lu Chongxing, immediately yells with delight upon seeing him. Big brother. Bai Ling, in a snow-white dress, with a delicate and pure face and flawless fair skin, shines with a holy beauty under the sunlight. However, her eyes, clear black and white like peach blossoms, radiate a dreamy and alluring charm that makes one's heart throb and involuntarily intoxicated. Both girls, each in a snow-white dress, possess world-class stunning beauty, and standing together, they resemble a pair of sisters, making even the heavens and earth appear somewhat dim in comparison. See Teach Oval Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But upon seeing Lu Chongxing, Binger immediately lets go of Bai Ling and affectionately clings to him. Her pale and gorgeous face reveals a shallow, adorable dimple. Daddy. Binger calls out, her tender, innocent eyes sparkling like black gems, gleaming with a radiant, beautiful luster. Despite it being only a few days apart, she seems to have been separated from Lu Chongxing for many years, her eyes full of longing. Binger. Lu Chongxing fondly ruffles the girl's hair, then turns to Bai Ling and calls out tenderly, little Linger. Bai Ling immediately comes obediently and endearingly into Lu Changsheng's embrace. A moment later, Lu Chongxing watches Bai Ling feeding the aquatic spiritual beasts at home. Over the years, Lu Chongxing no longer relies on breeding spiritual beasts for income. Because to earn money in this area, one must personally cultivate the feed for the spiritual beasts and refine pills to accelerate their growth. This process, if done through purchasing, tends to have high costs. And breeding spiritual beasts takes too long. Even for simple growth, it requires years or even decades. It can only be said that if a family business wants to make money, it must grow on a large scale. Otherwise, there is hardly any competitive strength. Binger, are you tired? At this moment, Lu Chongxing asks Binger. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1203. Daddy, Binger is not sleepy. Binger immediately looked aggrieved, her pale pink lips pouting. Her clear, tender eyes seemed veiled in a layer of mist, as if tears were about to fall. All right, not sleepy, not sleepy. Lu Chongxing, who always had a softer spot for gentleness than sternness, couldn't help but feel tender-hearted at the pitiful sight of Binger. Subsequently, he tried to hand Binger over to Lu Miaoyun Chu Zhenzhen. But at that moment, Binger simply did not want to leave him. Faced with this situation, Lu Chongxing was somewhat at a loss. It felt as if, by picking up Binger, it was like a couple having a child needing to be cautious. Or should I just resolve to be utterly heartless? Lu Chongxing gazed at Binger's delicate features, evil thoughts momentarily arising in his heart. Search * the novel Fire. Net * website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Although he wasn't sure about Binger's condition, he knew that the Binger before him was very extraordinary, exceedingly so. If it were possible for her to bear a child, the offspring would definitely be extraordinary. However, Binger's situation was special. Her body was like a corpse, and it was uncertain whether she could have children. Daddy. Binger, seeing Lu Chongxing looking at her, immediately called out affectionately, her voice tender and innocent. Seeing this, Lu Chongxing's indecent thoughts dissipated. He decided to nurture her for a while longer until she understood more. Otherwise, seeing her gaze now made him unable to proceed. After a long time, Lu Chongxing felt that this was not a solution either. He spoke out loud. Binger, Daddy is going to sleep now, do you want to join? Since Binger wanted to stay close, let her stay. It didn't interfere anyway. Binger will join Daddy. Binger blinked her eyes, which shone like black gems, showing no aversion at all. That night the room was completely silent. Binger, lulled to sleep by Lu Chongxing, lay on the bed like a delicate porcelain doll. Her black, beautiful hair spread out on the pillow, her body covered with a thin blanket, and her pale, exquisitely beautiful figure indescribably graceful. Especially the two beautiful legs revealed from the lower half, straight and slender with beautiful curves, and her toes clear and translucent. The only imperfection might be that her skin was too pale, even somewhat ghastly pale. Lu Chongxing quietly watched the sleeping girl before him, recalling how he unearthed her from the earth veins, feeling a surreal, unreal sensation. Perhaps sensing Lu Chongxing's gaze, Binger's long eyelashes quivered slightly, slowly opening her eyes. Seeing Lu Chongxing watching her, she immediately smiled joyfully, unconsciously murmured, Daddy, and then closed her eyes as if having a beautiful dream. Bai Ling, standing beside, watched Binger with maternal grace flowing in her eyes. She envied that all the wives and concubines in the family had given birth to children. Since she had been unable to conceive, she often helped with the children on normal days to compensate for her regret. This caused her, despite her immature personality, to exude a certain maternal glow. Little Linger, it's alright, just take this elixir medicine and then you will be able to conceive. Lu Chongxing, after watching Binger for a while, set up a barrier around her, looked towards Bai Ling standing beside him, softly saying as he took out the Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill. This bottle of Yin-Yang Integration Spirit Pill was divided into Yin Elixir and Yang Elixir. Aside from aiding in conception, it also had some benefits for both the male and female participants. Because a child's talent is not only related to the parent's talents but also to the parent's physical conditions. These two pills would allow both individuals to reach their current peak condition. However, the effect of the Yin Elixir is far superior to that of the Yang Elixir. Because in matters of conceiving and bearing children, the mother has a greater influence on the child's talent. Thus, the Yin Elixir, while enhancing the child's spiritual root talent, also indirectly nourishes the mother's body. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1204. I'm pregnant with a baby? Brother, can I really become pregnant? Bai Ling, hearing this, looked at the porcelain bottle in Lu Changsheng's hands, her eyes filled with surprise and hope. So many years had passed, and she also knew that her inability to conceive was related to her bloodline and talents. To solve it was extremely challenging. Ordinary elixir medicines and cultivation techniques were useless. Of course. Lu Changxing watched Bai Ling's beautiful eyes swirl with joy and expectation, pinched her fair and smooth cheek, and poured out the yin-yang integration spirit pill from the porcelain bottle. Sia the Novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Both pills were the size of a thumb. One was golden and the other was purple. The pill patterns on them seemed to contain thousands of mysterious and sparkling lines. The rich fragrance of the pills diffused, making the entire cave mansion seem like a misty steaming realm. Even Lu Changxing couldn't help but marvel at the extraordinariness of these fifth-rank pills. He handed the purple yin elixir to Bai Ling and spoke, "Just take it and then, thank you, brother." Bai Ling could see the extraordinariness of these two pills and was very moved as she took the pill. Lu Changxing also took the yang elixir in his hand. As soon as the pills entered their mouths, they melted away, transforming into warm streams of rosy light rushing towards their limbs and bones. In an instant, Lu Changsheng's pores opened up and his body shone brightly, his entire being filled with immense medicinal power, his energy boundless as if he had inexhaustible strength. At the same time, a hot sensation slowly emerged from his lower abdomen. After taking the pill, Bai Ling's effects were even more exaggerated than Lu Changsheng's. Her energy surged around her, and wave after wave of purple-gold light flowed from her skin, with radiant light overfilling, as if she was on the verge of transforming and ascending. "Brother." Bai Ling's exquisite and pure face flushed with a peach blossom's blush, her clear and distinct beautiful eyes looked affectionately at Lu Changxing, full of charm that was intoxicating. Both pills had an aphrodisiac effect. Let alone two cultivators at the foundation establishment and core formation stages. Even a nascent soul true lord would be affected by it. Lu Changxing did not suppress the heat and embraced Bai Ling's delicate and graceful body into his arms. Accompanied by the rustling sound, the snow-white dress was removed. Bai Ling had a wonderful figure. Graceful and delicate with a well-proportioned body. A pair of long and straight beautiful legs that seemed supernaturally perfect. The tender and delicate feet were like ice lotuses, each toe crystal clear as if carved from jade. The white scales on her fair skin gave off a white gold luster and were not alarming at all. Merged perfectly with Bai Ling's body, her pure and seductive figure gained an additional wild charm and exotic allure, invoking a primal desire to conquer in those who saw her. Brother. Under Lu Changsheng's years of patient teaching, Bai Ling was no longer the clueless girl, knowing how to please him. With her arms around his neck, she actively leaned in to kiss Lu Changsheng. Her lips were extremely soft, silky and tender, and they carried an intoxicating coolness. Moments later, accompanied by a soul-stirring delicate moan, an impeccable jade body undulates and sways. Adorned with scales glowing in white and gold, the jade body radiates a faint pinkish pearlescent light, dreamlike and illusionary, strikingly beautiful, filling the entire cave mansion with the air of spring. Inside the cave mansion, the ambience is ripe with the spirit of spring. Bai Ling was initially worried that Binger might wake up, showing signs of bashfulness. But realizing that a barrier separated them, she gradually lost herself under Lu Changsheng's punishing lashes. The fair skin covered in scales not only took on a subtle rosy blush but also constantly shimmered with a purple-golden radiance. This was the effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill. The power of the pill continuously nourished and moisturized the two as they made merry. Even after making love for several days, Lu Changsheng's body remained in peak condition, feeling better than ever before. "Daddy, I've slept enough." Just at this moment, as Lu Changsheng was on the verge of eruption, a naive and pleasant voice sounded. Binger opened her eyes and her clear, flawless large eyes looked on in surprise at the entwined pair. Binger, you shouldn't look." Bai Ling, almost forgetting herself at the sound of Binger, trembled violently, her beautiful face instantly flushing red as blood. Though she's not inexperienced, Yet she remains shy in character, only ever letting go with those she knows well, like Lu Miaoge, Ling Zixiao, Lu Miaoyun, Chu Zhenzhen, and so on. Now in front of Binger she felt somewhat uneasy. Especially after spending time with Binger these past days, she had come to view her as one could a child. Thinking that she and her brother were exposed like this in front of Binger, Bai Ling felt so ashamed her body shook uncontrollably, tears welling up. Lu Chongqing was also somewhat dumbfounded. He had previously used a barrier to isolate Binger but didn't expect her to wake up so soon. It can only be said that when desire takes over, one easily loses track of time. Ah! Finally Binger cried out loudly. But this voice was not one of surprise or fear but rather of feeling wronged. Throwing herself at Lu Chongqing, she said with a hint of grievance, "Daddy actually took advantage of Binger sleeping to secretly play games with Sister Linger. Binger wants to play too." Hiss. Lu Chongqing, embraced by Binger, recoiled sharply, his body withdrawing backward, disengaging from Bai Ling. Binger, seeing this scene, instinctively grabbed Lu Chongqing's formidable weapon as it slipped out from Bai Ling's body, pressing her little face to it, curious about how to play this game. Hiss. Lu Chongqing sharply inhaled a breath of cold air once again. Binger, true to her name, her body temperature always cool and chilly. At this moment her cold slippery little hand holds Lu Chongqing's formidable weapon, her face filled with curiosity as she examines it, not only blowing frigid breath towards the weapon but her delicate, tender face and pink lips also inadvertently making contact. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1205, Daddy. Binger, still naive and ignorant, looked at Lu Chongqing, her voice tenderly calling out, asking how to play the game. But her appearance at this very moment undoubtedly brought an unprecedented visual stimulation to Lu Chongqing, igniting his desires. Under the effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill, already feeling an intense heat throughout his body and on the verge of bursting, Lu Chongqing couldn't wait to find a place to vent, as he instinctively thrust his waist forward, his life force pouring out. Woo woo woo, Binger instinctively whimpered, her naive large eyes looking at Lu Chongqing, her little fangs even lightly grazed Lu Chongqing. If it weren't for the 100 refinements treasure body art, Lu Chongqing felt he would have been scraped by those fangs. With the sound of gulping, Binger's body suddenly shrouded in a dazzling brilliance. A surge of astonishingly strong sinister evil qi burst forth from her body, seemingly lowering the temperature of the cave mansion. Lu Chongqing looked at Binger in front of him, his expression bewildered, not understanding what was happening. But under the chilling breath he instinctively withdrew the roaring flood dragon, causing Binger's cheeks and hair to be sullied. The originally naive Binger, only around 17 or 18 years old under the brilliance, rapidly grew into a 26 or 27-year-old woman with pale skin, cold as frost. She bore an 80 to 90% resemblance to Binger. As if a matured Binger. Her features were cold and stunningly beautiful, her body curvaceous, and her white skirt barely able to hide her proudly enchanting curves. At this moment, Binger had a face of cold, noble pride, looking like a goddess from above the 9 heavens, her gaze towards Lu Chongqing no longer naive and affectionate as before, but rather embarrassed, angry, filled with sinister qi. She glared at Lu Chongqing with murderous intent. However, her flawless, exquisitely beautiful face, even stained, brought a profane beauty to her whole being, making the anger, murderous intent and sinister qi in her eyes non-threatening, and even strangely beautiful. You seek death. Binger had her chest heaving, her alluring and proud figure trembling as if shivering. Heart-stoppingly beautiful eyes, dignified and indifferent, filled with murderous authority as she looked at Lu Chongqing, seemingly wanting to tear him to shreds. Suddenly, a tumultuous surge of sinister evil qi rushed towards Lu Chongqing, making the entire cave mansion seem covered in frost. Brother. Bai Ling also sensed something was amiss, her eyes hazy as she looked towards Lu Chongqing and Binger, wanting to understand what was happening. Pount Sumaru. Lu Chongqing did not understand what was going on with Binger in front of him. But he realized immediately that something was off about the Binger in front of him, as if she had changed into another persona. Moreover, aside from a body comparable to third-order body refining, the person was permeated with a surge of astonishingly strong sinister evil qi, so he took no chances and directly suppressed her with Mount Sumeru. Bang! The majestic power of the cave heaven fell on Binger, causing her body to heavily sink. But her eyes flowed with cold intent, her killing aura fearsome, her body continued to erupt with a torrential and terrifying aura. Siege Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. But the next moment, an even more astonishing force of heaven and earth pressed down. At the same time, Qi Ocean Core within Lu Chongxing Golden Core releasing a magnificent radiance, the Yin-Yang domain opened. Only to see Yin-Yang energies flowing, filling the heavens and earth, forming a Yin-Yang Daoist chart behind him, enveloping the heavens and earth, suppressing Binger in front of him. Finally, under the combined forces of Mount Sumeru and Lu Changsheng's Yin-Yang domain, the Binger in front of him was suppressed. Who are you? Lu Chongxing looked at the Binger in front of him, his eyes slightly narrowed, he asked aloud. Human, how dare you treat this palace like this? One day this palace will surely see you torn to pieces. Binger said with a cold expression and fierce murderous intent. Even though her pale lips showed no life, her whole being suppressed, her demeanor still revealed a condescending nobility that ashamed others. If murderous intent could kill, Lu Chongxing might have already been chopped into thousands of pieces by her now. Torn to pieces? I advise you to behave now. Lu Chongxing slightly crouched down, reaching out to hold her delicate chin, speaking coldly. He had long known Binger was not ordinary. But he did not expect such a change could still occur with Binger. Is this Binger's appearance before amnesia, or is it a secondary persona? But wasn't Binger a Yin corpse? Is it possible that Binger was not refined into a Yin corpse by someone else, but transformed herself into a Yin corpse? Lu Chongxing introspected secretly. No matter the case, judging from the way he found Binger, she is not simple at all. Human, do you really think you have this palace under control? Binger spoke coldly, full of murderous intent, her body continuously releasing sinister evil qi, seemingly struggling against the cave heaven's power, Lu Changsheng's Yin-Yang domain. If you really had means, you would have acted by now. Why waste words with me? Lu Chongxing held Binger's chin, utterly unafraid. If it were the outside world, he might indeed be somewhat afraid. But this place was Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven, he did not believe she could cause any trouble. However, her sinister evil qi still alarmed him somewhat. It must be known that the spirit vein of Mount Sumeru Cave Heaven is currently advancing towards 3rd rank, and Mount Sumeru's strength has also improved significantly. Nascent soul cultivators have no chance to retaliate within the Cave Heaven. Yet her sinister evil qi seemed to struggle against the power of Mount Sumeru's Cave Heaven. This is astonishing. You are the first who dares to speak to this palace like this. After a moment, Binger, as if recognizing reality, gave up struggling, her lips lightly parted, speaking coldly, her voice devoid of any emotion, not having the slightest warmth, cold to the bone. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1206. But still she stood there like a cold phoenix perched high in the 9th heaven, emanating an aura of noble sanctity that discouraged any direct gaze. Ha, you are the first woman who dares to speak to me in such a manner. Lu Chongxing looked at her proud and noble face, and with a light chuckle he said, You're right, I indeed lack the strength to kill you now. But if you dare to insult me again when I awaken next time, I would risk my life just to take yours. Binger spoke in a distinguished and lofty tone, her voice punctuated with chilling murderous intent. As her words ended, a dazzling white light surged around her, and she reverted back to her appearance of a 16 or 17-year-old girl. Daddy, eat up. Binger wants more. With a look of naive confusion in her eyes, Binger gazed at Lu Chongxing, as if she had no idea what had just happened, licking her lips and looking longingly at Lu Chongxing. In the midst of speaking, she nuzzled forward to feed. Hiss, Binger. Lu Changsheng's eyes widened as the desire he had just dispersed surged back with a vengeance. Xianxia the Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Daddy, I want more. Binger's delicate and stunning face oozed satisfaction and pleasure as she spoke. At that moment, Lu Chongxing simply had no clue what to say. He only felt that the pure and innocent girl before him had been tainted by his own actions. However, the atmosphere that had been disrupted earlier was reignited by Binger's current actions. Brother, just now Binger At this moment Bai Ling looked at Binger before her and asked Lu Chongqing. She had distinctly felt an incredibly terrifying aura emanating from Binger. I don't know either, Lu Chongqing shook his head. He suspected Binger's condition was related not only to the stimulation between the two of them but also to his essence. After all, he had ingested the yin-yang integration spirit pill, and the medicinal power was suffused throughout his body, each drop of essence brimming with vigorous life force, akin to an elixir. It might have been due to a combination of factors that triggered the awakening of a second personality within her, or perhaps an instinctual memory. Regarding this, he would have to wait until Hong Lian awakened to further assess the situation. But the way she referred to humans made Lu Chongqing even suspect whether she might not be of the human race, but some other species? Daddy, I want to play the game too. Binger, with her innocent and childish eyes, looked at Lu Chongqing and continued to call out. Lu Chongqing gazed at Binger in front of him, feeling as if his moral baseline had collapsed. After all, at this point, it seemed rather pretentious to maintain restraint. Even though it felt beastly to lay hands on Binger, if he didn't take action, wouldn't he be even worse than a beast? Okay, let's play a game together with Sister Linger. Lu Changsheng's mouth curved into a smile as he spoke warmly. Insult me? Risk life to take mine? Do you really think Mr. Lu is easily frightened? Moments later, Bai Ling and Binger were hugging each other face to face, closely embraced. At the same time, above the vast and boundless ocean, a colossal island spanned across the heavens and the earth. Beneath the island, the endless azure waves were turbulent, with crystalline dragons spiraling upward, as if lifting the immortal island spectacular and beautiful. Atop the island stood a majestic and magnificent immortal city, its grandeur overwhelming. In the center of the immortal city rose a towering column reaching for the Yunshao, standing tall as if connected to the sky dome, with a splendid and beautiful palace built atop it, diffusing endless divine light amidst the clouds, presenting an inexplicable sense of breathless oppression from afar. At this very moment, within the resplendent palace on the celestial pillar, sat a figure shrouded in a misty, dreamlike aura. She seemed to sense something, and her beautiful eyes, capable of stirring any soul, gazed off into the distance towards a far-off direction. Lung Ningbing, you really aren't dead. The woman's features were delicate, breathtakingly beautiful, with skin like the purest polished jade, seemingly enveloped in a layer of holy radiance, untouched by even a speck of dust, giving those who see her a sense of committing sacrilege. But if Lu Chongqing were to see this woman, he would surely be astounded. For her appearance and resemblance eerily mirrored Binger's, after her transformation, with a striking similarity of 90%. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1207. By Lake Mountain, Mount Sumur Cave Heaven. Inside Chongqing Hall, spring is abundant. Lu Chongqing, switching between Bai Ling and Binger, moving up and down, composes an exquisite symphony that resembles heavenly music. Even though Binger possesses a physique of third-order body refining, it could be her first experience with intimacy, or the awakening of a second personality expended too much energy. Therefore, she could not withstand the ordeal, and after several tosses she softly called, "Daddy," twice and then closed her eyes, falling into a lazy sleep. As for this, Lu Chongqing didn't pay it much heed and continued to strive with Bai Ling in their endeavor to conceive. Originally, Bai Ling's condition would hardly endure Lu Changsheng's relentless encouragement day and night. But with the help of the yin-yang integration spirit pill, she is extremely energetic, consistently maintaining her peak state. Furthermore, as the two engaged in dual cultivation, the medicinal effects continuously dispersed, nourishing both bodies. Time passed bit by bit in such manner. They labored tirelessly, unsure how many peaks they've climbed together. See Tej Novel Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Accompanied by a moan that sounded like a plaintive sob, Bai Ling's flawlessly graceful jade body turned limp like mud, glowing lustrously and enveloped in a halo of light. At this moment, Lu Chongqing noticed something off about Bai Ling. Her body seemed to burn with flames, scorchingly hot. Linger. Lu Chongqing immediately embraced Bai Ling's soft and fragrant body, full of concern. Could it be that she overexerted herself for too long, resulting in excessive fatigue? But Bai Ling's physique is extraordinary, And with the assistance of the medicinal power of the yin-yang integration spirit pill, she shouldn't be like this. Upon examination, he saw that Bai Ling was bursting with energy, her body flowing with a luminescent glow without any signs of abnormality. Brother, I'm so sleepy. Linger doesn't know why, suddenly so sleepy, wanting to sleep. Bai Ling's face blushed like peach blossoms, her beautiful eyes hazy, speaking sluggishly and without strength. As soon as she finished speaking, she fell into a deep sleep. At the moment of her slumber, streams of white gold and purple gold brilliance burst forth from within her body, gradually forming a white golden cocoon about 3 meters long that completely wrapped her body inside. Above the cocoon, the strands of light flowed to and fro, waxing and waning as if breathing, attracting countless nature's spiritual energy towards the cocoon. Lu Chongqing stared at the scene before him, dumbfounded and puzzled. What's going on? A few days ago Binger inexplicably transformed into a woman who called herself Her Majesty. Now Bai Ling has morphed into a cocoon. Lu Chongqing was very confused. However, he immediately realized that Bai Ling's situation was related to the yin-yang integration spirit pill. Could it be that pregnancy with the yin-yang integration spirit pill also involves turning into a cocoon to nurture the fetus? It shouldn't be the case. Lu Changsheng's eyes shone with a golden luster, looking at the white golden cocoon in front of him. He could vaguely see through the cocoon that Bai Ling was deep in sleep, her body shimmering with white golden scales and exuding a mysterious aura, a white diamond-shaped scale mark on her forehead flickering on and off. This situation, why does it seem a bit like a bloodline awakening? Lu Changsheng's eyes narrowed slightly, contemplating about the concept of bloodline awakening. Originally, Hong Lian had mentioned that Bai Ling might possess a diluted true spirit bloodline. However, due to ancestral bloodline regression, mutation and various unknown reasons, part of the bloodline power was activated. As she continued her cultivation, her bloodline could gradually awaken and become more potent. At this point, Bai Ling's condition made Lu Chongqing think of bloodline awakening. How can having a child lead to so many accidents? Lu Chongqing was somewhat speechless and didn't know what to say. However, according to the yin-yang integration spirit pill manual, consummating for 3 days will surely result in pregnancy. These days he had no idea how long he had been intimate with Bai Ling. Even though Binger got involved in the process, he figured it shouldn't make a difference. Huff. Lu Chongqing exhaled a breath of turbid energy, feeling completely spirited and full of vitality. The main effect of the yin-yang integration spirit pill may indeed be pregnancy. But after all, as a 5th-rank elixir medicine, it not only kept him energized, but now that the pill's effects were dissipating, his cultivation level was on the verge of breaking through to the golden core 2nd layer. He directed a cleansing technique towards the chaotic cave mansion. Then, looking at the sleeping Binger, he lifted her slender waist and smooth jade-like buttocks into his embrace and carried her to the side hall, aiming to place her in the crystal coffin for rest. Bang! Lu Chongqing opened the crystal coffin lid, and immediately a chill air wafted out. Daddy, as soon as Binger lay down, her eyelashes trembled lightly, and her innocent and youthful eyes opened, calling out to Lu Chongqing with a crystal-clear voice. Binger, if you're sleepy, rest well. Lu Chongqing looked at Binger, gently caressed her pale and delicate cheek and spoke softly. Daddy, when we play games next time, could you be a bit gentler? Binger's cute face rubbed gently against Lu Changsheng's palm, her voice slightly aggrieved. Upon hearing this, a strong sense of guilt surged in Lu Changsheng's heart. He felt that he had been bewitched at the time, having done such things to Binger. Yet this little girl was still thinking about the next time. All right. Lu Changsheng's mouth twitched as he spoke softly. Daddy's the best. Binger's smile was pure, beautiful and crystal clear. Then she obediently fell asleep. Bang! The coffin lid closed. What's all this even about? Lu Chongqing slapped his forehead and shook his head. Immediately afterwards he stepped out of Chongqing Hall to ask Hong Lian if she knew what had recently happened to Binger and Bai Ling. This palace, with dark evil qi. Hearing Lu Changsheng's words, Hong Lian pondered for a moment before saying, Young master, there are 2 possibilities for Binger's condition. One is that someone wished to give her a new lease of life, therefore turning her into a yin corpse. The other is that she found herself in some peril, and in a life-and-death situation she resurrected herself by turning into a yin corpse. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1208. However, in this process the soul was originally in a dormant state, and now Binger's situation is that of a new consciousness born from the body, Hong Lian spoke out. Although cultivators have limited lifespans. In the cultivation world there are still many techniques and methods to extend one's life, even reincarnating afresh. Among these, the most common are methods such as ghost cultivators, corpse cultivators or body snatching. However, these methods are forbidden by the natural order and come with great costs. Lu Chongqing nodded, tending more towards the second possibility. Because if it were someone else's doing, why choose a place like the Myriad Beasts mountain range? Moreover, in the underground palace, aside from the Great Formation, there were no other protective measures. But if it was due to encountering danger while still alive, being in a critical state makes much more sense. Regardless, Binger's situation is very unusual. She must have been at least a nascent soul true lord before. Also, I wonder if Binger might become pregnant? At this moment Lu Chongqing suddenly thought of a problem. During his union with Bai Ling and Binger he shared intimately. Thus he did not rule out the possibility of Binger getting pregnant. However, according to common sense, a corpse's body wouldn't become pregnant. But Binger's case couldn't be measured with common sense. Many demi-demons or those who possess special bloodline power might inadvertently consume some heavenly and earthly treasures, or cultivate some cultivation technique, and thus may unexpectedly activate the power of their bloodline. Bai Ling might be just such a case. Young master just needs to wait for some time to find out. Hong Lian's voice was gentle and pleasant as she continued speaking. Good. Lu Chongqing nodded, then he inquired about Hong Lian's situation with concern. He learned that she was at the final stage of forming her body. It would take at most 2 to 3 years for her to be born from the spiritual embryo. Afterward, Lu Chongqing returned inside the cave mansion, looking at the dazzling cocoon on the bed that shimmered with a platinum radiance. He closely monitored Bai Ling's situation to avoid any accidents during the process. Bai Yun Peak, a courtyard. Lu Yun walked out of the practice room, his face still somewhat pale and languid. Although the failed foundation establishment didn't cause him severe injury, it still damaged his vitality and he needed a long rest. Master, Grandpa. A woman in the courtyard, along with 2 young children, looked at Lu Yun and immediately called out. This was his wife and their grandchildren. Jier Fuer. Lu Yun, seeing his wife and the 2 young children, his mature face showed a hint of a smile. As one gets older, there tends to be a close bond with the grandchildren. His initial few children did not possess spiritual roots, which led him to have a distant feeling towards his children, with not much expectation placed on them. Later, as he took on the role of family head, he rarely paid attention to his children at home. Now, having stepped down from the position of family head, seeing his grandchildren before him, he felt quite emotional. Jier and Fuer will also have their spiritual roots tested in a couple of years, right? Lu Yun asked his wife. Early in his years, under the arrangement of his mother Lu Miaoyun, he had 3 wives and 6 concubines, fathering 25 children. However, out of those 25 children, only 5 possessed spiritual roots, the rest were sent to Rui Prefecture. Jier and Fuer are 4.5 years old. They can go for the spiritual root test next year. Hearing this, his wife's fair face showed a trace of worry. Although both parents of these twin grandchildren have spiritual roots, it's still not guaranteed that they will have them as well. And even possessing spiritual roots, if they are merely lower grade, the path to becoming a cultivator is bleak. Grandpa, will I have a spiritual root? Lu Yuanjie, standing nearby, asked with his little head raised. Having been born in by Lake Mountain, influenced by what they saw and heard, they naturally knew about spiritual roots and cultivation. Spiritual roots. Lu Yun, looking at his grandson's slightly chubby face, became a bit lost in thought, reminiscing about his eldest son. When he was young he seemed to have asked the same question. But now his son's face had become somewhat blurred in his memory. Certainly, when my Jier grows up, Grandpa will teach you how to cultivate. Seeing his grandson's hopeful eyes, Lu Yun, his face slightly pallid yet aged, revealed a gentle smile and softly spoke. After chatting for a while, his wife took the 2 grandchildren and left. Lu Yun leaned back on the recliner, looking up at the azure sky, muttering, spiritual roots. 9th grade spiritual roots. Even if one has spiritual roots, 90% are just lower grade. Lower grade spiritual roots. Even with chances and foundation establishment elixirs, making foundation establishment is immensely difficult. Siege novel, Ire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Previously seeing how his siblings managed foundation establishment, Lu Yun thought it wasn't as hard as imagined. All that was needed was a foundation establishment elixir and success was highly likely. Yet only after his own attempt at foundation establishment did he realize that it was several times harder than he had thought. It's also my own inadequacy. Lu Yun thought of Lu Chuanzhen, Lu Rui, Lu Qingsong, Lu Caizhen and sighed deeply. After all, their father not only prepared foundation establishment elixirs and spirit objects but also assisted through external forces. In such circumstances his own failure at foundation establishment could only mean his own incompetence and he couldn't blame others. Otherwise, why did Lu Chuanzhen, Lu Rui, Lu Qingsong and Lu Caizhen, all with the same lower-grade spiritual roots, succeed at foundation establishment? Without the foundation establishment elixirs, even with middle-grade spiritual roots, making foundation establishment is immensely difficult. The hope is slim. Lu Yun, hearing the playful noises outside the small courtyard, slightly turned his head and mused to himself. Having been the family head for many years, he was very aware that even with the family's wealth, it was impossible to provide a foundation establishment elixir for everyone. It was only his father's generosity that now allowed his siblings to receive an elixir once they reached the 9th level energy refinement. In the future, as the number of people increases for the 3rd and 4th generations of the Lu family, it will be difficult for everyone to have a foundation establishment elixir. They must rely on their own efforts and compete. Without support among my descendants, perhaps none might break through foundation establishment. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1209. Lu Yun's heart suddenly felt desolate. He felt that in this life he was mediocre and incompetent. Even the descendants of his family seemed destined to be mediocre and aimless. Brother Yun, you followed in our father's footsteps but only grasped the surface. Are you sure you truly understand father? At this moment, Lu Yun suddenly remembered something Lu Chuanzhen had said to him long ago. Father. Lu Yun paused in his heart, feeling indeed that he did not truly understand his father. Even now his father Lu Chongqing was still enshrouded in a mist, elusive and incomprehensible. However, at this moment, a thought arose in his heart. If he could not surpass his siblings, then he would change the track. If his children and grandchildren were incompetent, he would just have more children. As long as he had enough children, some of them were bound to be talented and gifted. Although I am mediocre, if I choose to cultivate the heavenly longevity technique, I could devote all my time and energy to bearing and raising children, teaching them. Moreover, once I achieve foundation establishment, the talents of the children born will reach even higher levels. Lu Yun muttered to himself, his heart's gloom gradually dissipating, replaced by a surge of boldness. However, hearing the playful laughter of his wife and grandson outside the yard, a self-mocking expression appeared in his eyes, and he muttered to himself, after all is said and done, I am still fundamentally a selfish and indifferent person. This is just an excuse for myself, hoping it would gain my father's affection. When foundation establishment failed, his father talked to him about the heavenly longevity technique and he was indeed a bit baffled and unsure how to choose. But after calming down he had more or less made up his mind. Yet there was still a hurdle in his heart. If I break through foundation establishment and live for 200 years, won't I still have to watch them go through birth, aging, sickness and death? Lu Yun gazed at the blue sky and white clouds, sighing. He knew that if he asked his parents, his father would likely give him another chance to attempt foundation establishment. But if foundation establishment failed again, then he would truly have no chance of achieving it in this lifetime. The heavenly longevity technique not only offered a hope for foundation establishment, but even relying on his father he might reach that lofty and unattainable realm of core formation. As for not being able to leave by Lake Mountain as long as one is alive, there are choices. In the Chongqing Hall, Lu Chongqing was constantly observing the white golden cocoon formed by Ling. Chongqing, the auction at Red Leaf Valley Market is about to start. That day Lu Miaoge, in a plain white dress, looking like a breathtakingly beautiful figure, utterly ethereal, came to the cave mansion and tenderly said to Lu Chongqing, "The auction is about to start?" Upon hearing this, Lu Chongxing pondered for a moment and said, Sister Miaoga, take the golden armor beam mother and go oversee the auction. I will not go this time. Now Bai Ling was in an unknown condition and he really couldn't rest assured to leave. Moreover, with the lineup at the auction including his daughter Lu Wangshu, the 9 Netherhound Li Xingyu, Lu Munian and Lu Yuanzhong who are Foundation establishment fighters, now that Lu Miaoga and Li Xingrua are also going with such a lineup, even if false core immortals came, they would not be able to cause much trouble. Linger is all right, isn't she? Knowing Bai Ling's situation, Lu Miaoga looked towards the white golden cocoon and inquired with concern. It's just a bloodline awakening, there should be no issues. Lu Chongxing held his wife's hand and softly said, Sister Miaoga, if any unexpected situation arises, contact me immediately. Yes. Lu Miaoga softly responded, then with Li Xingrua, took the spirit boat towards Red Leaf Valley Market. They did not go directly to the Red Leaf Valley Market. Instead they first went to Qingzhou Mountain to pick up her father Lu Yuanding. In just a few months' time, Lu Yuanding had aged significantly, his gaunt face covered with age spots. If it weren't for the spiritual medicine from Lu Chongxing and the continuous care from Lu Miaoga, he might have already been in dire straits. Search *the Nefire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Miaoga, you have been working hard these days. Lu Yuanding, his eyes cloudy but shining with some brightness, said. Dad, don't let your emotions stir unnecessarily. Lu Miaoga supported her father and used Tai True Water to regulate his qi blood. Chongxing is tied up with some matters and can't leave right now. She spoke to nearby Lu Yuanzhong. It's normal to be busy with some matters. Lu Yuanzhong, also looking quite pale with gray hair and wrinkled face, responded. After a brief exchange, Lu Miaoga piloted the spirit boat, carrying Lu Yuanzhong, Lu Yuanding, along with her son Lu Xian and daughter Lu Qingqi, toward the Red Leaf Valley Market. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:10, Red Leaf Valley Market. Due to the buzz created by the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain, the final highlight of this year's auction is the Foundation Establishment Elixir, and with continuous hype, the traffic in Red Leaf Valley Market has surged in recent months, creating extraordinary excitement. Even many loose cultivators who know they have no chance at the Foundation Establishment Pill have rushed over to join in the excitement, hoping to stumble upon an opportunity or good fortune. Yet another Foundation Establishment ancestor TSK. This auction is really lively. I've counted, and today alone there have already been 7 Foundation building great cultivators who have arrived. That spirit boat, seems like it's from Purple Cloud Ridge, isn't it? Didn't someone from Purple Cloud Ridge just break through to Foundation Establishment recently? Why would they also attend this auction? As for Foundation Establishment elixirs, who would think they have too many? This auction might require the Lu family ancestor Lu Chongxing and his Dao companion Lu Miaoga to preside together. Otherwise, it would be impossible to maintain order. Outside the market, streaks of spiritual light flew by, accompanied by the landing of spirit boats, magic artifacts and birds. Many wearing the law enforcement robes of Red Leaf Valley Market from Blue Lake Mountain, Qingzhou Mountain and 100 Birds Lake were on patrol, maintaining order. If any Foundation building great cultivator landed, Lu Muping from the nearby pavilion would come out to greet them actively and invite them into the market. After all, this auction was too exciting and unprecedented. Faced with this situation, the 3 families had no choice but to be cautious. If this auction were to be ruined and unforeseen events occurred, not only would Red Leaf Valley Market's reputation plummet, but the 3 families would also be affected. Just then a dazzling blue spirit boat descended from the sky. Siege Novel Fire. Net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Leading them was a woman with an exquisite figure, with her raven hair in a high bun, a clear and beautiful countenance like snow, wearing a plain white dress and a tall and graceful physique. The lady of the Lu family from Blue Lake Mountain, Lu Miaoga. The Lu family ancestor from Qingzhou Mountain, Lu Yuanzhong. Why is the Lu family ancestor Lu Chongxing from Blue Lake Mountain not seen? As soon as a cultivator saw the figures on the spirit boat, they immediately exclaimed, causing a little commotion. After all, Lu Miaoge is now also a well-known foundation establishment cultivator recognized by many. As for Li Xingrua, not many knew her. Greetings to the ancestor. I have seen the lady. Auntie. Several patrolling disciples immediately came forward to greet them upon seeing this. These days the patrol in Red Leaf Valley Market has been very strict, both inside and out, with children from the three families visible everywhere. Lu Miaoge gently nodded in response, then turned to inquire from a 27 or 28-year-old woman, Qingyan, where's Wangshu? Auntie, Sister Wangshu has been inside the market these days, replied Lu Qingyan, a beautiful woman in silver armor with an unadorned face looking spirited and valiant. Has anything happened in the market these days? Asked Lu Miaoge, continuing to show concern. Occasionally a few petty thieves, but all have been dealt with, Lu Qingyan spoke with efficient grace. Although Red Leaf Valley Market is protected by Foundation establishment cultivators, and even the 9 Netherhound is brought over, there are still some bold robber cultivators who take risks and commit robbery in the vicinity. In the past few months, they have responded to several reports and dealt with numerous robber cultivator incidents. Uncle, Sixth Uncle, Aunt Qingxian, Qingxi. At this moment, Lu Munian from the small pavilion greeted Lu Miaoge and the others as he saw them approaching. Muping. Lu Yuanzhong and Lu Miaoge briefly asked a few questions before leading the group into the market. Why is it only Lu Miaoge? Where's Lu Chongxing? At such a time Lu Chongxing isn't here? Could it be that Lu Chongxing has disguised himself, deliberately concealing himself to lure us into action? It's also possible that Lu Chongxing is worried about accidents happening on White Tiger Mountain or Monkey Mountain, so he's causing a diversion and is currently on White Tiger Mountain, speculated some cultivators watching Lu Miaoge and others as their figures disappeared and then quietly relayed the message out. What a lively scene. Under the support of Lu Miaoge and Lu Qingxian, Lu Yuanding looked at the bustling market street, his aged face slightly flushed with excitement. This was a scene he had never dared to imagine. Grandfather, in the future Red Leaf Valley Market will become even more prosperous and lively with our family, becoming a grand marketplace, Lu Qingxian earnestly said, feeling Grandpa's arm gripped his own tight, his youthful handsome face full of seriousness. Good, grandfather believes that day will come, Lu Yuanding reassured, patting his grandson's hand, his face full of contentment. As they spoke they arrived at Red Leaf Peak. Besides several cave mansions rented out at the foot of the peak, the rest were for the family's own use. Standing on the mountain peak, Lu Yuanding looked down at the bustling scene of the marketplace, as if he wanted to etch this image forever in his heart. Lu Qingxian accompanied his grandfather at his side. However, Lu Yuanding's energy was weak, and after watching for a while he had to return to his room to rest. Inside a small courtyard, Lu Wangshu was chatting with her mother, Xiao Shiyu. Hearing the noise outside, she immediately got up to check. Mother, Aunt Xingrua, you're here, Qingxian Chair. Upon seeing Lu Miaoge and the others, Lu Wangshu called out. Having been raised by Lu Miaoge since she was a child, she was quite close to her and usually called her mother. Wangyu, you've been working hard these days, said Lu Miaoge gently to the bright and flawless girl before her. It hasn't been too bad. Where's my dad? Lu Wangshu looked up, searching for her father Lu Changsheng's figure. After all, having worked so hard these days, her father must properly reward his precious daughter. Your dad has some matters at home and can't get away, so he hasn't come, Lu Miaoge explained as she stroked her smooth, soft hair, her demeanor gentle as water. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:11. Humph, Mom and I have been waiting for him for so long and he didn't even show up. Upon hearing this, Lu Wangshu immediately pouted with a coquettish hum. This time she had invited her mother Xianxia over, hoping for a family reunion, but her own father ended up not coming. It's alright, Wangshu. Sir, the novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Just then Xianxia emerged from the courtyard, dressed in a moon-white dress, with a cool and beautiful face and graceful curves, resembling a moon palace fairy. Miaoge. Xianxia looked towards Lu Miaoge and nodded slightly. Because of Lu Chongxing and her daughter, she had a pretty good relationship with Lu Miaoge. Xia, Chongxing truly has some matters to attend to and can't get away at the moment. Lu Miaoga explained on behalf of her husband as she looked at the fairy-like figure before her. It's fine. Xiaoxia's expression remained cool and sanctified as she gently shook her head. She knew that Lu Chongqing, who was breaking through to core formation, whether in practicing cultivation methods and abilities or in refining magical treasures, was very time-consuming and could no longer afford the leisureliness of earlier years. The group entered the courtyard to chat. Li Xingrua was not familiar with Xiaoxia and didn't try to forcefully join the conversation. Instead, she went to find her sister Li Xingyu and her daughter Lu Qingli. Let's go, Xianxia. Sister will take you to look around. Feeling somewhat bored, Lu Wangshu turned to her younger siblings and spoke. Hee, thank you, sister. Upon hearing this, Lu Qingqi immediately responded with joy, happily clutching Lu Wangshu's arm. He was very fond of this sister. After all, this sister was very generous and open-handed. As long as she behaved obediently and showed her cuteness a bit, she often bought her nice things to eat and play with. Lu Qingxian followed, quiet and serene, staying by the side of her two sisters. Only occasionally did she ask Lu Wangshu some questions about the marketplace and the situation there. At the same time, many powers that were keeping an eye on Blue Lake Mountain's situation were secretly scheming and discussing fervently. Lu Chongqing actually hasn't shown up, only sending Lu Miaoga alone? The two of them practicing dual cultivation techniques, their combat power would significantly decrease if they were separated. Lu Chongqing definitely wouldn't do something so foolish. Could this be a deliberate ploy to provoke an attack? Should we seize this opportunity to deal with Lu Miaoga? Whoever wins the Foundation Establishment Elixir, the moment they leave the marketplace we strike. If they dare to attempt Foundation establishment in the Red Leaf Valley Market, we'll directly dismantle their market's great formation. White Tiger Mountain's guardian spiritual beast is currently stationed in Red Leaf Valley Market. With no Foundation establishment cultivator available to protect White Tiger Mountain, we could take this opportunity to wreak havoc. Blue Lake Mountain placed its main puppet industry on White Tiger Mountain. They definitely have some defenses set up. Perhaps Lu Chongqing is lurking on White Tiger Mountain, so it's safer to target Monkey Hill instead. Though Monkey Hill doesn't have any publicly known Foundation establishment cultivator sitting in, I suspect, just like the early years of White Tiger Mountain, they have hidden Foundation establishment cultivators. Humph, I don't believe that Monkey Hill also has a Lu Pingon. These forces were secretly conspiring to strike at Blue Lake Mountain during this opportunity. After all, the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family's rise to power had been very prominent recently, with both establishing a chamber of commerce and hosting such a large auction event. If the auction was to be successfully held, Blue Lake Mountain's reputation was sure to advance further. By then, when their fame spread throughout the Qingyun region, and even throughout the entire Jiang country cultivation realm, countless loose cultivators and small family forces would deliver Foundation establishment pill materials they collected with great difficulty to Blue Lake Mountain for Foundation establishment elixirs. Under such circumstances, who could stop the rise of Blue Lake Mountain? So now, while there was still a chance, they naturally wanted to press down on the power of Blue Lake Mountain and prevent its smooth rise. The next day, the auction officially began. On the streets, countless cultivators headed towards the auction venue. Good heavens, so many Foundation establishment ancestors. Isn't this the famous Qi refinement perfection master among loose cultivators, the Thousand Extinction Hermit? Aren't these people from Jinlong Ridge Jin family? They've actually come to attend the auction? The crowd was abuzz with talk as Hong Yi, dressed in a purple garment, his face now lined with wrinkles, arrived at the auction venue with his son Hong Xuanji. Time flies indeed. Hong Yi looked at the bustling venue before him, his expression laden with emotion. As he grew older, he seldom left Rui Prefecture and had not been to Red Leaf Valley Market for almost 10 years. He came this time upon hearing about the Foundation establishment elixir, wanting to join in the excitement and also to meet Lu Chongqing. Looking at the now completely transformed and bustling Red Leaf Valley Market, he felt a mix of familiarity and strangeness. He clearly remembered that when Red Leaf Valley Market was still in preparation, he had purchased a shop here for 1,800 spirit stones through his connection with Lu Chongqing. However, with the prosperity of Red Leaf Valley Market, the price of this shop has also increased several times over. With the speed at which his Rui Marquis mansion earned money, it would take decades to accumulate enough spirit stones to buy a shop like this. At the entrance of the auction venue, a Lu family disciple who was maintaining order saw Hong Yi and Hong Xuanji and immediately approached them politely. "I've seen Uncle Hong and I've seen brother-in-law Yun Fei." Hong Xuanji recognized this Lu family's son and exchanged a few simple pleasantries. After that, the two were led to the VIP seats. Normally, based on their status, it would be difficult for them to sit in the VIP area. But Hong Yi was after all an old friend of Lu Chongqing, so Lu Xingyang had reserved some seats early on. "Xuanji, why hasn't Saijin come?" After sitting down, Hong Yi glanced around at the other seats. He saw many Lu family's sons but did not see Lu Saijin, expressing his surprise. He had previously thought his daughter-in-law would be together with other Lu family disciples or be arranged to deal with some affairs. "Father-in-law, Saijin has other arrangements from the family, so she has been quite busy these days." Hong Xuanji paused for a moment and whispered in reply. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 12:12. Although Lu Kaizen's foundation establishment was not publicized, his wife, lacking scheming, often spoke to him about various matters, so he faintly speculated about it but never dared to confirm. You and your spouse should get along well on normal days." Upon hearing this, Hong Yi slightly nodded and then inquired about the situation of the Lu family. After hearing that there had been no news about Lu Chuanjin, Hong Yi sighed. He had high hopes for Lu Chuanjin in his earlier years. He believed that even with a lower-grade spiritual root, Lu Chuanjin could achieve no small success. Later, upon hearing that Lu Chuanjin exhibited the strength of the energy refinement late stage during the assault on White Tiger Mountain, he even believed that the other party could break through to foundation establishment. Unfortunately, Lu Chuanjin had been out for so many years without any news. Otherwise, if Lu Chuanjin had broken through to foundation establishment, he might have been able to support his own son. Alas. Hong Xuanji also sighed slightly when talking about Lu Chuanjin, not knowing where his elder brother-in-law had gone. The other party had bid him and Lu Saijin farewell when he set out years ago, leaving behind some parting words. But unexpectedly, after so many years, there was not a trace of news. Time passed by little by little. After the venue became crowded, a man and a woman came onto the auction stage. "Welcome all seniors and Daoist friends to grace Red Leaf Valley Market with your presence. I am Lu Qingza from Blue Lake Mountain, fortunate to preside over this auction. I hope everyone can purchase items to your liking. During the auction process, it is forbidden to threaten or maliciously inflate prices, and such disruptive behaviors will result in the forfeiture of cultivation level and expulsion from the market." After a few opening remarks and introducing the auction rules, the man went straight to the point and began to introduce the auction items. The first item of this auction is the Breakthrough Elixir. In addition to the Finale Foundation Establishment Elixir, Lu Chongqing also had his family prepare some fine elixir medicines, talismans, and heavenly and earthly treasures for this auction. The many treasures he had acquired from White Peak Immortal could slowly be processed through such auctions. However, it was difficult to liquidate advanced-level heavenly and earthly treasures at the modest Red Leaf Valley Market. 100 Spirit Stones. 150 Spirit Stones. 200 Spirit Stones. With each item presented, the auction proceeded vigorously. Even though many came for the Foundation Establishment Elixir at the end, they also gained considerable rewards from this auction. The auction was grand, lasting 3 days. There was also an intermission midway each day. On the third day, the auction entered its final phase. The quality of items today was increasingly high, with casual bidding amounts reaching hundreds, thousands, and even nearly 10,000. Ladies and gentlemen, next up is the last item of our Red Leaf Valley Market auction, the Foundation Establishment Elixir. Lu Qingza spoke with a somewhat excited voice on the stage. "Sir the Novelier. T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality." As soon as these words were uttered, the atmosphere in the entire venue seemed to solidify. Countless people held their breath, staring intently at the auction stage. Suddenly, a stunning woman in a pink and white dress, with a beautiful, radiant and pristine appearance, exuding a peaceful and elegant charm, stepped onto the stage and handed out a porcelain vial. "Who is this woman? She's so beautiful." Lu Wangshu, the Lu family ancestor Lu Chengsheng's much-beloved daughter, a second-grade talisman master. A second-grade talisman master? Lu Chongsheng, truly starting from the talisman path, now has a second-ranked talisman master in his children. Hiss, if I could marry this woman, wouldn't Foundation establishment be hopeful? The descendants of the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family seem to have quite a few good-looking ones. You can always trust the taste of the Lu ancestor. What magic artifact did this woman use to conceal her cultivation level? Is she not an energy refining cultivator but a Foundation establishment cultivator? As Lu Wangshu stepped onto the stage, many people immediately started discussing with looks of admiration and astonishment. Some Foundation establishment ancestors seeing Lu Wangshu suspected that she might be a Foundation establishment cultivator. After all, a precious elixir like the Foundation establishment elixir, in order to avoid risks, would not generally be placed in the hands of energy refining cultivators. Sister Wangshu has worked hard. Lu Qingze received the Foundation establishment elixir, then opened it and announced, "The function of the Foundation establishment elixir, I believe, needs no further explanation. It can harmonize the three barriers of Foundation establishment, protect and strengthen the meridians and dantian of the breakthrough practitioner, significantly improving the chances and safety of Foundation establishment. However, this particular Foundation establishment elixir has a flaw. It is but an inferior Foundation establishment elixir, and can only increase the likelihood of Foundation establishment by 10%. Lu Qingze spoke with a clear voice, introducing the item. An inferior Foundation establishment elixir, increasing the chances by 10%? Upon hearing this, various forces in the venue reacted with both surprise and disappointment. After all, many had come in hopes of a genuine Foundation establishment elixir. Meanwhile, some of the loose cultivators and small family forces realized the competition for the inferior Foundation establishment elixir would be much less, giving them a chance. This Foundation establishment elixir will have a starting bid of 5,000 spirit stones, and each increment must not be less than 200. Lu Qingze announced loudly, unperturbed by the commotion below. Lu Wangshu remained gracefully upright on the stage, observing the surroundings to prevent disturbances. 6,000 spirit stones. 7,000 spirit stones. 7,500 spirit stones. Despite being an inferior Foundation establishment elixir, the competition was fierce. The price soon soared to 8,000 spirit stones. Many loose cultivators sighed at the sight. They had hoped for a slight chance with the inferior Foundation establishment elixir. Yet the competition remained intense. Many factions, after hesitating for a moment, also chose to give up. After all, besides being flawed, the elixir carried risks on the journey back. 10,200 spirit stones. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:13. In the end, the price of the inferior Foundation establishment elixir broke through 10,000 spirit stones. Faced with this price, other forces ceased to continue bidding. If it were a genuine Foundation establishment elixir, they would be willing to pay even a few thousand more. But for an inferior Foundation establishment elixir, after all, the effect is limited. It's very likely to be wasted. Huang family from Huangyang Ridge? It's actually them. It's said that the Huang family patriarch is gravely injured with not much lifespan left. No wonder they are willing to bid this price. The Huang family didn't send any Foundation establishment cultivators, only 2 energy refining cultivators. Getting the Foundation establishment elixir, they may face the risk of being robbed. Many cultivators looked towards the bidder, whispering among themselves. Before long, a middle-aged man dressed in a yellow cotton robe arrived at the auction, paid the spirit stones, and received the Foundation establishment elixir. Lu Daoist, may I ask if I could borrow a dwelling in Red Leaf Valley Market to attempt Foundation establishment breakthrough? Regardless of success or failure, we of Huangyang Ridge will owe Lu family a favor, and are willing to offer additional spirit stones. The middle-aged man said with a cupped fist salute. He himself understood that carrying the Foundation establishment elixir back to attempt the breakthrough could be very dangerous. Hence he wanted to attempt it directly in Red Leaf Valley Market. Huang Daoist, A large amount of nature's spiritual energy is needed when breaking through to foundation establishment. The current situation in our Red Leaf Valley market is just enough to maintain the operation of the Great Formation. If someone attempts foundation establishment, it will surely affect the market's Great Formation. Moreover, it is a special period right now and quite honestly inconvenient. On hearing this, Lu Qingze immediately spoke out to tactfully refuse. About this matter, the family had already given instructions beforehand, saying that they shouldn't allow anyone to attempt foundation establishment in the marketplace. Because apart from robber cultivators and heretic cultivators, many forces are now eyeing by Lake Mountain and Red Leaf Valley market. Once such a situation arises, it's possible that some forces could disguise as robber cultivators and seize the opportunity to cause chaos in the market, brewing a disaster. Sigh. Upon hearing this, the middle-aged man sighed, somewhat disappointed. But he had anticipated this. The spirit vein of Red Leaf Valley market was not impressive. To support the market's Great Formation at full operation was already pushing it. How could they provide a dwelling for someone to attempt foundation establishment? If the attempt caused problems to the Great Formation and led to a disaster, even by Lake Mountain might not be able to suppress it. Huang Daoist, you can stay in the market for the time being and inform your family elders, or you could ask Tianwei Escort Bureau's escort guards to escort you back. At this moment, Lu Qingze spoke to the middle-aged man. As the auction's hosts, they naturally do not wish for buyers to encounter any mishaps just after leaving Red Leaf Valley market or on their way back. That would adversely affect their own reputation. All right. The middle-aged man nodded, knowing this was the only way, and prepared to inform his family elders and contact the escort guards. However, as he looked at the bustling venue, he still couldn't help but ask with some hope. Huang is going to return to Huangyang Ridge. Is there any senior willing to escort me? Huangyang Ridge is not only willing to pay spirit stones but also owes the senior a favor. Yet there was no response. Many foundation establishment forces here knew that by Lake Mountain was being watched by various powers. Even false core-level forces were eyeing this auction to spoil it. Who knows if there were foundation establishment cultivators lying in ambush not too far outside. So, to earn a bit of spirit stones, it definitely wasn't worth the risk. Seeing no one responded, the middle-aged man could only give up, requesting someone to send a message to his family and arrange for someone to pick him up. As the auction came to an end, the cultivators in the venue quickly departed. Some cultivators who had participated in the bidding and spent money immediately took this time to disguise and camouflage themselves, leaving Red Leaf Valley market. Wangshu, Qingze, Qingli, you've all worked hard. At this time, Lu Miaoge and Li Xingrua came backstage looking at Lu Wangshu and the others and spoke. It's alright, these days mainly Qingze and cousin Mu Ping have been busy. Lu Wangshu usually had a scholarly and gentle demeanor, serene and refined. Auntie, it's my responsibility. It's also my first time hosting such an auction. I was still a bit nervous. Lu Qingze and Lu Qingli said with a smile. After speaking for a while, Lu Miaoge went to visit her father Lu Yuanding. This auction took too long and currently Lu Yuanding's energy simply couldn't last through it. He took a rest partway through. At this moment, at the entrance to Red Leaf Valley market, one after another, cultivators were seen leaving the market, flying on spirit boats, flying swords and magic artifacts. Shortly after, suddenly, powerful foundation establishment spiritual pressures pervaded the air. One saw several figures wearing hats and black robes, covering their faces, appearing. They coldly told the cultivators coming out of the market, "Leave behind your valuables and your lives shall be spared." "Spare my life, please. A foundation establishment cultivator, it's all over. Spare me, senior. I'm willing to give up my storage bag." The cultivators who had just left the door immediately changed their expressions, overwhelmed by the spiritual pressure. None of them expected that there would be foundation establishment cultivators laying in wait outside the market, and it seemed that there were 5 of them. This is a deliberate attempt by a force targeting Red Leaf Valley market. Someone immediately realized that the situation was not right. After all, what robber cultivator would dare to rob openly right outside a market? They would typically be tens of miles away. Roar. The 9 netherhounds stationed in the market looked towards the situation here and suddenly roared, its voice reverberating powerfully enough to shake one's heart. This is Bihu Lake Mountain's guardian spiritual beast, How terrifying. What kind of spiritual beast is that? It looks so ferocious. Many energy refining cultivators seeing the 9 Netherhound couldn't help but shudder. Some who had just released their spiritual bird mounts found them cowering and trembling under the aura of the 9 Netherhound, shaking uncontrollably. Teach Oval Fire. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. However, the distant 5 masked robber cultivators seeing this scene just sneered and began attacking the surrounding chi refining loose cultivators. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12-14. How dare these robber cultivators cause trouble at our Red Leaf Valley Market? At the marketplace entrance, Lu Qingyan and her patrol heard the commotion. Her pretty face darkened and she shouted loudly. She immediately activated the marketplace's great formation, preventing others from going out and triggering the yin-yang sensing talisman. However, upon witnessing this scene, the 5 masked robber cultivators sneered viciously and started attacking the chi refining loose cultivators around them. In an instant, several energy refining cultivators fell bleeding to their death. In the face of Foundation establishment cultivators, unless energy refining cultivators have powerful treasures, they stand no chance at all. Damn it! Seeing this unfold, Lu Qingyan clenched her silver teeth and fists tightly, her face looking extremely ugly, knowing that the enemy was showing off their power to deliberately provoke them. Inside the marketplace, Lu Wangshu was talking with her mother, Xianxia. Suddenly, they heard the roar of a 9 Netherhound, and she gently raised her slender hand, looking at the sensing talisman flashing red in her palm. Is there a Foundation establishment cultivator making a move outside? Seeing this, Xianxia closed her eyes to sense and immediately detected the disturbance outside the marketplace, the spiritual pressure of Foundation establishment. As Xingyang said, someone did come to stir up trouble. On hearing this, Lu Wangshu's beautiful face suddenly showed a hint of coldness. They had already anticipated that other forces might cause trouble at this auction. They just weren't sure when these hidden forces would choose to act. Mother, I'll go take a look. Lu Wangshu immediately said. These people making their move so close to the marketplace had an obvious purpose. It was to damage the reputation of the Red Leaf Valley Market by proxy, and indirectly suppress the Blue Lake Mountain. Mother will go with you, Xianxia said softly. Although aware that her daughter's combat capability is extraordinary, if she were to throw all the talismans given by Lu Chongqing, even she, the mother, might not be a match and would be thrown into disarray. But in this situation she still was not at ease letting Lu Wangshu go alone. All right, later on, please help me with the plundering formation, mother. Lu Wangshu pursed her lips and smiled, also looking forward to showing off her skills. Immediately, the two walked out of the courtyard, flying toward the entrance of the marketplace. Flight is prohibited within the marketplace, but Foundation establishment cultivators are not affected. Wangshu. At this moment, Lu Muping and Lu Yuanzhong saw Lu Wangshu and Xianxia and immediately called out to them. Cousin Muping. Lu Wangshu often visited the Red Leaf Valley Market, so she was also familiar with Lu Muping. Wangshu's appearance, why does it somewhat resemble Fairy Shiyu? At this time, Lu Muping glanced at Lu Wangshu and Xianxia and suddenly paused, noticing the similarity between their eyes and facial contours. Could it be? He abruptly did not dare to continue his thoughts. He found it too astonishing. Lu Yuanzhong acted as if he hadn't noticed anything. He had once seen Fairy Shiyu at Blue Lake Mountain in his early years and had conjectured after seeing the grown-up Lu Wangshu. But such matters were too shocking and he never mentioned it to avoid bringing trouble to Lu Chongqing. Xianxia noticed Lu Muping's gaze and instantly her cool and holy visage was covered by a layer of moonlight, making it difficult for anyone to discern her features for a moment. A short while later, the four arrived at the entrance of the Red Leaf Valley Market. They immediately saw that 5 Foundation establishment cultivators were blocking the outside, attacking the departing loose cultivators. Sister Wangshu, cousin Muping. Lu Qingyan and the others saw Lu Wangshu rushing over and immediately cried out. Being blocked at the door merely watching was truly stifling. If this incident were to spread, it could seriously damage both their family name and the marketplace's reputation. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Lu Wangshu's pretty face turned icy, and she transformed into an escape light, charging out. Wang Shu. Sister Wang Shu. Upon seeing this, Lu Muping and others immediately changed color and exclaimed in shock. One must realize that these were 5 Foundation establishment cultivators. Moreover, the mana spiritual pressure of 2 among the 5 was extremely powerful, most likely at the Foundation establishment mid-stage. With such strength, wasn't Lu Wangshu heading to her doom? You all manage the marketplace formation. Xiaoxia's voice was clear, cold, and detached as she spoke to Lu Muping and Lu Yunzhong, then she immediately followed after. So, Lu Wangshu is indeed a Foundation establishment cultivator. Another Foundation establishment cultivator, the Lu family of Blue Lake Mountain, has hidden their strength quite deeply. But the little girl seems inexperienced in the world, acting so impulsively. Who is this lady in white? At the entrance of the marketplace, some cultivators who knew of Lu Wangshu narrowed their eyes upon witnessing the scene, and their wariness of Blue Lake Mountain increased a bit. After all, a Foundation establishment cultivator emerging every now and then was truly alarming. Where did this little girl come from? She's courting death. The 5 Foundation establishment cultivators who were undertaking the plundering laughed out loud upon seeing Lu Wangshu. One of them immediately sacrificed a small golden knife spiritual artifact and launched an attack at Lu Wangshu. Whiz whiz whiz. Lu Wangshu's lovely face showed indifference as talismans streamed out from her pink-white sleeves, swirling around her, integrating their energies, like an armor made of talismans emanating a mysterious aura. Furthermore, talismans flew in all directions, arranging themselves in the sky dome as if to form some sort of formation. Clang. Sir, the novel Nur. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The golden knife spiritual artifact came within a zhang of Lu Wangshu and was immediately stopped by an invisible barrier, emitting a clang. Such a method, a talisman cultivator. Is this not the Lu family ancestor Lu Changsheng's signature technique, talisman formation? I didn't expect this girl to have inherited Lu Changsheng's talisman path legacy. Back when Lu Changsheng had just broken through to Foundation establishment, he depended on the talisman formation technique to suppress 3 Foundation establishment members of the Yu family. No wonder the girl is so confident, daring to face 5 Foundation establishment cultivators alone. Even though the talisman formation is formidable, as long as there are enough talismans, one could overcome opponents of a higher level. However, facing 5 Foundation establishment cultivators alone is too arrogant. No, the lady in white behind her is not simple. Who is this woman? The lady of the Lu family, Lu Miaoga? At the entrance of the market, everyone who witnessed the scene was filled with doubt and astonishment. Lu Yuanzhong saw this scene and his expression became slightly dazed. He recalled the scene from 40 years ago when Lu Miaoga was assaulting her Foundation establishment. The 3 Foundation establishment members of the Yu family attacked, and Lu Changsheng emerged from the formation, summoning a talisman formation, suppressing the 3 Foundation establishment cultivators. Is this a talisman formation? We absolutely cannot let her deploy the talisman formation. Spread out and take action. The 5 Foundation establishment robber cultivators came prepared, having done their homework, and knew they must not be trapped by the talisman formation. They immediately scattered, summoning magic artifacts, casting techniques at Lu Wangshu and Xiaoxia. Xiaoxia looked at the 5 approaching people, her body enveloped in a pale lunar glow. She remained still. She knew that her daughter's cultivation up to now had never been revealed to the outside world. She anticipated a day when her daughter could make a name for herself in the cultivation world. And today this was her daughter's stage to shine. Still, she remained vigilant, ready to take action in an instant if her daughter encountered any danger. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:15. Shu Shu Shu. Lu Wangshu faced the 5 attackers, lightly pursed her pink lips, her pretty face serious, with talismanic light winding around her, suddenly shooting out, taking on the offensive of 5 by herself. At the same time, a dark luo umbrella appeared above Lu Wangshu's head, spinning wildly, transforming into numerous Xuanzhen talismans and arrayed around her. Boom boom boom. The collision of spells caused a series of explosive sounds, resulting in a terrifying wave of mana aftermath. Hiss, this woman is facing 5 Foundation establishment great cultivators and is not at a disadvantage at all. You call this not at a disadvantage? Consuming so many talismans at the first encounter is simply extravagantly wasteful. Is this a battle or a splurge of money? I've always heard that talisman cultivators are spendthrifts. Today I've really seen it. Damn it, the amount spent in this single encounter exceeds the spirit stones I could earn in 10 years. If she keeps relying on talismans like this, she can probably only hold out for a bit. It might be difficult for her to repel 5 people. Right, if she can't trap these 5 in a talisman formation, once she runs out of talismans, she's more likely to face misfortune than luck. Who is this lady in white? Why isn't she taking action? At the marketplace entrance, many cultivators were discussing animatedly as they watched the conflict in the sky before them. By this time Lu Miaoge, Li Xingruo and Li Xingyu had also arrived. However, seeing the battle outside, they did not take action immediately. 1. 9. Seal. Suppress. Intercept. Annihilate. Lu Wangshu's body illuminated as if she was wearing a 9-colored talisman robe, her curves enchanting, her black hair flowing, her eyes sharp and piercing. Instantly, dozens of talismans charged towards the 5, sealing, suppressing, intercepting, annihilating from all directions, leaving no gaps. Little girl, I want to see just how many talismans you have. Such a method, truly astonishing. So this is a talisman cultivator? If this young girl can wield so many talismans, how many can Lu Chongqing wield? This girl must be eliminated. Otherwise, once she grows up, she will be another Lu Chongqing. The 5 Foundation establishment robber cultivators, seeing Lu Wangshu taking the initiative and looking imposing, all had a hint of wariness in their eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that there were 5 of them, they would not dare to take on Lu Wangshu. After all, if it were one-on-one, they feared that in a few exchanges, they would be bombarded into dust by these talismans. This also instilled in them an even stronger killing intent towards Lu Wangshu, wishing to nip this talent in the bud. Boom, boom, boom. The 2 sides continued to clash, Lu Wangshu's talismans bombarding furiously, preventing the 5 from getting close. Facing this situation, the 5 also gave up attacking and shifted to defense as their primary tactic. They separated and took their positions, using spiritual artifacts, waiting for an opportunity. Sir, the novel Fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Humph. Lu Wangshu let out a light snort, seeing that the 5 did not dare confront her head-on, wishing to drag out the fight to exhaust her. Suddenly, she performed a series of rapid gesture incantations, and her slender, fair finger traced in the void like a swimming dragon. In an instant, a golden talisman formed. From this talisman, 1 produced 2, 2 produced 4, 4 produced 8. In the blink of an eye, 99 talismans appeared, forming a talisman formation around her, supporting her figure, which looked extraordinarily beautiful. What technique is this? An illusion technique? No, these are all talismans. Drawing talisman in the void. Could this be the legendary drawing talisman in the void? Hiss, Lu Chongqing has hidden his hand well. All these years, never have I seen him display such a method. He truly concealed his skill. If it weren't for his daughter, we really wouldn't know that his talisman path inheritance was so amazing. Everyone was shocked by Lu Wangshu's methods. Jiang country was not known for a renowned talisman cultivator heritage. Occasionally, a few talisman cultivators would appear with some related records. Therefore, techniques like drawing talisman in the void were unheard of, unseen by many present. Seeing Lu Wangshu's methods left them astounded. Realizing that the talisman path inheritance of the Lu family was extraordinary, Xianxia, watching her daughter's techniques, had a touch of gentle pride in her eyes. Unwittingly, the infant once in her swaddling clothes had grown to such an extent. She still remembered giving birth to Lu Wangshu at the Red Leaf Valley Market with Lu Chongqing. She is only at the initial stage of foundation establishment, she won't last long. Right, this woman is not adept in combat, such blind bombarding. Before long she will deplete her talismans and mana. Be careful, do not take her lightly. The 5 had serious expressions as they looked at Lu Wangshu and Xianxia, communicating with divine sense. However, thinking that they, 5 people, were being made to struggle by such a junior at foundation establishment, they were extremely frustrated. Now is the moment. After a moment of stalemate with the five, Lu Wangshu, observing the arranged talismans above, suddenly had a stern look, her fingertips danced. A 9-colored talismanic script slowly traced across her smooth white forehead, seemingly sketching out an ancient rune. The rune transformed into a mysterious and profound 9-colored divine talisman. As the talisman emerged, all the talismans around Lu Wangshu burst with spiritual light, converging and interweaving, forming a giant talisman several zhang in size. At the same time, in the heavens and earth in all directions, ripples appeared in the void, forming numerous talismans spinning wildly. 9 Xian Talisman Array Formation. Golden Light Ultimate Heaven and Earth. Lu Wangshu incanted with a clear voice as she formed gesture incantations. Suddenly, the talismans spinning in all directions converged, their chi fusing together, forming an extremely strong golden barrier that trapped the 5 Foundation Establishment robber cultivators. Oh, this isn't good. A trivial initial stage of Foundation Establishment, trying to trap us 5, overestimating herself. This wench is using such techniques, she's too busy to be distracted, kill her. The 5, seeing the situation, observed the golden light shining from all sides, the shrinking barrier, and immediately charged towards Lu Wangshu. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:16. However. Dong dong dong. Golden barriers appeared one after another, isolating them individually and sealing them within. Kill. The eyes of the 5 were fierce. Mana surged as they bombarded the golden barriers, not believing that Lu Wangshu, a mere early-stage Foundation Establishment cultivator, could trap all 5 of them. Boom boom boom. These golden barriers seemed endless. No sooner had they been cracked and fissures appeared than another was instantly formed. Heavy water 3,000 marshes surge mightily. Lu Wangshu formed hand seals with a clear shout. Infinite talismans proliferated, forming a talisman formation. With the 2 merging talisman formations, raging torrents struck toward the 5 within the golden barriers, overwhelming and seemingly eroding the cultivators' physical bodies and mana. Infinite raging fire burns fiercely. Within the realm of water and fire, a golden lotus is planted. 9-colored talismanic script glittered between Lu Wangshu's brows, her hands continuously forming seals, and inside her chi ocean core, the profound origin beads spun wildly, pouring out stored mana. For someone like Lu Wangshu to act in this way, the mana of ordinary Foundation Establishment cultivators couldn't keep up. Yet even with the profound origin bead, Lu Wangshu's charming and beautiful face still paled slightly. For a moment. Shocking waves, turbulent waves. Blazing fires spreading wildly and lighting the sky. Behind Lu Wangshu, all talismans converged, spiritual light surged and golden lights exploded, forming sharp golden lotuses, striking down the 5. Piu. In an instant, 3 robber cultivators at the early stage of Foundation Establishment were severely injured under the onslaught of water, fire and golden lotuses, blood spewing, their vitality waning. This. To contend against 5 alone and still hold upper hand. Talisman cultivator, such a terrifying talisman cultivator. Once the talisman formation is formed, there's no match within the same level. If encountering a talisman cultivator, one must finish the battle quickly. If her talisman formation is refined, it will be troublesome. Is this girl just beginning Foundation Establishment? How is her mana so vigorous and vast? Blue Lake Mountain Lu Wangshu. Didn't expect that after Lu Pin gone, Blue Lake Mountain's Lu family has another Lu Wangshu. Such fortune in Blue Lake Mountain's Lu family. The spectating cultivators were profoundly shocked, their expressions grave. Sir the Novelier. T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Sister Wangshu is so formidable. So Sister Wangshu is this powerful. Wow, go Sister Wangshu. Lu Qingyan, Lu Qingze, Lu Qingqi and other members of the Lu family were all surprised to see this. They never expected their usually somewhat idiosyncratic sister to be so fierce, instantly exhilarated. In the crowd, a few people looked up at Lu Wangshu and Xianxia in the sky, their expressions shifting. Daoist, please stop, we admit defeat and are willing to leave. At this moment, a robber Foundation establishment cultivator, realizing the battle could lead to their demise, shouted loudly towards Lu Wangshu. "Indeed, young friend, we are willing to offer compensation." Seeing this, another robber cultivator called out. They came here just to cause trouble, to strike at the Red Leaf Valley market, and had no intention of losing their lives over it. The other three remained silent but were also considering retreating, knowing that continuing the battle would mean waiting for Lu Chongsheng or a cultivator from Qingyun sect to arrive, which would be very troublesome. You come to my family's market to cause trouble and think you can just stop whenever you want? It's not that simple. Do you really think Blue Lake Mountain is so easy to bully? Lu Wangshu's hair flew about, her face crystal clear and stunningly beautiful, and she spoke with a cold voice. As she spoke, her hands continued to form gesture incantations, endlessly deriving talismans around her, forming golden lotuses that continuously attacked the 5 people. The 99 Xuanzhen talismans arranged around her body also merged into the golden lotuses at this moment, bursting forth with endless sharp auras. Poo. Suddenly, a Foundation establishment cultivator under the attack of the talisman formation was pierced through the body, vomiting blood, and was left gasping for air, barely alive. "Young one, do you really want to fight to the death?" A robber cultivator at the mid-stage of Foundation establishment shouted aloud upon seeing this. Knowing that if they do not fight with all their might, they are likely to perish here today. Fight to the death? Try. Lu Wangshu formed a seal with one hand and continually sketched talismans in the void with the other, forming strands of spirit talismans. Such arrogance from a junior. Let's fight her to the death. This mid-stage Foundation establishment robber cultivator let out a long howl to the sky, displayed a secret technique, and his aura climbed dramatically, beginning to fight desperately. However, among the other 4, 2 had already perished, covered in blood. Boom. The remaining 3 fought desperately, furiously striking at the talisman formation, trying to break through and kill Lu Wangshu. But by then the talisman formation was already complete, and even though the 3 wanted to fight desperately, they couldn't break through at all, feeling a surge of despair. Swoosh. However, just at that moment, suddenly, a masked Foundation establishment cultivator burst forth, rushing towards Lu Wangshu with murderous intent. Seeking death. Next to her, Zhou Xian's eyes gleamed with a crystal-cold light like the 9 heavens' bright moon, suddenly raising her hand to slap forward. Buzz. An invisible ripple spread out, causing the body of the rushing Foundation establishment cultivator to stiffen suddenly. Bang. Sounds of dull explosions immediately resounded within the body of the Foundation establishment cultivator, whose body trembled uncontrollably as he vomited blood. Following that, his mind swayed, he died a spiritual death, his aura extinguished, and his face full of unwillingness as he fell from midair. This. Who is this woman? She killed a Foundation establishment great cultivator with a single strike. No wonder Lu Chongsheng entrusted the Red Leaf Valley market to his daughter Lu Wangshu. It turns out there is such a powerful cultivator stationed here. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. No one expected that the white-robed woman accompanying Lu Wangshu would be so fierce. To think she killed a Foundation establishment cultivator with a single palm strike. Is this the power of a true inheritance from the Immortal sex? Lu Yuanzhong, Lu Muping upon recognizing Zhou Xian's identity and seeing her in midair were shocked. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:17. Lu Qingze, Lu Qingyan and others looked at Xianxia, unable to suppress their curiosity about the relationship between this person and their father. In charge of the marketplace affairs all this time, they were completely unaware of such a powerful individual in the marketplace. Upon witnessing this scene, Lu Wangshu's lips pursed lightly. She then continuously formed gesture incantations with both hands, and as she gently parted her red lips she uttered, 99 mystical talismans, divine phoenix. Screech. A piercing screech resounded between heaven and earth. All the talismans around Lu Wangshu fused into one, transforming into a golden phoenix bathed in crimson dawn light. This phoenix was an impressive 10 feet tall, its golden light flowing and burning fiercely with flames, making Lu Wangshu's glowing and elegantly curved body look sacred, noble and indescribably beautiful. Die. Lu Wangsha's fingers came together as she pointed them towards the remaining 3 people, her eyes cold and hard. Suddenly, the divine phoenix let out a screech, igniting the world in fire. A swath of flames engulfed the 3 people who were already suppressed by the golden barrier. I refuse to accept this. Upon seeing Xianxia take action, the 3 were already in despair, realizing that there was no escaping death today. Now, faced with the divine phoenix, they cried out in sorrow, filled with endless regret. Had they chosen to flee immediately, they could have escaped unharmed. Even in the midst of battle, there was still a chance to run away. But they never imagined that Lu Wangshu, a mere initial stage foundation establishment cultivator, would display such astonishing tactics, leading them to a hopeless end. A moment later, the divine phoenix and the firelight vanished between heaven and earth. The corpses of the 5 robber cultivators fell from the sky. The bodies of 3 among them were charred black. Once touched by the breeze during their descent, nothing was left but their magical robes, magic artifacts, and remains. Such methods, they're simply too. Blue Lake Mountain Lu Wangshu, this woman's combat power, I'm afraid it's not weaker than that of a foundation establishment peak cultivator, right? It still depends on the situation. If it's a surprise attack or if she's attacked before her talisman formation is set, she's just an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator. First there was Lu Pingon, now there's another Lu Wangshu. No, initially Lu Pingon only managed to repel a foundation establishment mid-stage elder from the Tao family, but this Lu Wangshu faced 1 against 5, killing 5 foundation establishment cultivators. Back when Lu Chongxing had just broken through foundation establishment, he used talisman formation to defeat 3 members of the Yu family and established the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family, but now his daughter has alone killed 5 foundation establishment cultivators. With such children, who can halt the rise of Blue Lake Mountain Lu family? All those who saw Lu Wangshu in the sky were in a trance, unsure of what to say. Expressions of shock, surprise, envy and jealousy emerged on their faces. They were astounded and envious that Lu Chongxing had 2 such extraordinarily talented children, Lu Pingon and Lu Wangshu. Either of these 2 could lead a family to prosperity for 100 years, advancing the family another step forward. And now the Blue Lake Mountain Lu family had both of them at the same time. However, people like Lu Yuanzhong and Lu Muping, who knew Lu Qingshan, were even more astonished and envious. I'm afraid even Qingshan wouldn't be a match for this woman if they fought? Lu Yuanzhong murmured to himself, filled with incredulity. He never thought that besides Lu Qingshan, Lu Chongxing had another such brilliantly talented daughter. And moreover, she was cultivated by himself and not sent to the immortal sects. But seeing Xianxia beside Lu Wangshu, enveloped in a layer of hazy lunar glow, his mind became at ease. After all, Lu Wangshu not only had Lu Chongxing as a father but also had Xianxia as a mother. Huff. Lu Wangshu let out a long breath, her face slightly pale. This battle was her first true fight. As a result, she used too much force, which led to significant energy consumption. However, seeing the outcome of the battle, a slight smile appeared on Lu Wangshu's delicate face. Wangshu, I'll take these corpses back with me and then have the enforcement hall investigate later, said Xianxia to Lu Wangshu through a message. The sudden appearance of these 6 foundation establishment cultivators was clearly a targeted act by other forces. Regardless of which force was responsible, since they dared to disguise as robber cultivators and perform such acts in public, Qingyun sect had the right to investigate. However, under normal circumstances, if the matter wasn't too serious, Qingyun sect wouldn't spend time and effort on it. But since she was a true disciple and the direct heir of the enforcement hall master, if she wanted to investigate the matter, the enforcement hall would naturally give face. I burnt the corpses to a crisp, that won't be a problem, will it? Lu Wangshu was momentarily stunned upon hearing this. She had been somewhat nervous during the fight. Therefore she didn't hold back and the last 3 were almost reduced to ashes. It's okay, these 3 are enough, Xianxia replied softly. She hadn't reminded her daughter earlier because she didn't want to impact her performance, which might have led her to be shackled. Immediately after, the 2 of them cleaned up the battlefield and returned to the entrance of the marketplace. The cultivators at the scene looked at the 2 of them with respect and awe, unconsciously clearing a path for them. Qingyan, cousin Muping, I'll leave the cleanup here to you, said Lu Wangshu with a smile. After such an event in the marketplace, It was definitely necessary to manage the aftermath and reassure the public. But like her father Lu Chongqing, she didn't particularly like dealing with daily trivialities. Okay, replied Lu Qingze and Lu Qinyan, still immersed in the aftermath of the battle, somewhat dazed as they nodded. Wangshu, you have worked hard, well, take it from here, said Lu Muping, taking a deep breath and nodding. He then rose into the air and addressing the crowd he said, Fellow Daoists, I apologize for today's incident at the marketplace. We have wasted your time. Search * the novel. Buyer. At website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. At that moment, after exchanging a few words with Lu Miaoge also stepped forward, using a voice amplification technique and said, as compensation, next year our Blue Lake Mountain Lu family will offer a genuine foundation establishment elixir for auction again in the Red Leaf Valley market. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:18. If any Daoist friends possess the materials for foundation establishment elixirs, our Blue Lake Mountain Lu family also welcomes you to come and refine foundation establishment elixirs. Our Blue Lake Mountain Lu family has always adhered to a policy of cooperation and shared prosperity. Our family's commercial association is in the preliminary stages of formation. If any Daoist friends have ideas, you are welcome to come to Red Leaf Valley Market or Blue Lake Mountain to discuss potential collaborations. As a collaborator, should our Blue Lake Mountain have foundation establishment elixirs in the future, we will prioritize supplying them to our internal partners. Lu Miaoge spoke out loud. In her speech, she continued to express her family's stance, unwilling to make enemies with other family forces. She hoped to cooperate with all forces in harmony and prosperity, to work together and shoulder to shoulder in cultivating a magnificent future. The recent ambush by robber cultivators had made Lu Miaoge and Li Xingruo realize that the forces targeting them were not simple. Otherwise, it would be impossible for there to be 6 foundation establishment cultivators. Faced with this situation, their Blue Lake Mountain Lu family naturally could not rely solely on strength to subdue everyone. They still needed to attract more cooperative partners. It's not about making these forces pledge allegiance to Blue Lake Mountain. But the attitude was clear. As long as one is willing to form a good relationship, benefits would follow. If one were to act against us in the shadows, our Blue Lake Mountain is not to be trifled with either. Sia the Null Fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. What? A genuine foundation establishment elixir. Hiss. Blue Lake Mountain just auctioned a subpar foundation establishment elixir, and now they're releasing another one next year. Prioritizing internal partners for supply. The Lu ancestor is generous. Blue Lake Mountain is magnanimous. Many cultivators, upon hearing this, were immediately excited and spoke out loud. And some loose cultivators, deep in thought, pondered whether if they were to join Blue Lake Mountain, there might be a chance to obtain a foundation establishment elixir. Foundation establishment elixir. All parties, upon hearing this, not only felt tempted but also discerned additional implications in the words spoken. It might be that Blue Lake Mountain is not currently in dire need of foundation establishment elixirs. Lu Miaoge was representing Blue Lake Mountain, actively extending goodwill to the outside world. Just at this moment, Lu Miaoge felt a premonition, and a yin-yang sensing talisman appeared in her hand. This is Flower Fruit Mountain has been attacked? Lu Miaoge, seeing the signal from Flower Fruit Mountain, slightly furrowed her brows. She immediately realized that some forces were taking advantage of the current situation to make a move against Flower Fruit Mountain. Lady Lu. At this time, several foundation establishment ancestors stepped forward, wanting to inquire with Lu Miaoge about cooperation with the commercial association. I have some matters to attend to. In a few days, my Blue Lake Mountain will hold a foundation establishment ceremony for my daughter Wangshu. If Daoist friends wish to discuss cooperation with the commercial association, you may come to Blue Lake Mountain at that time for a detailed conversation. Lu Miaoge spoke apologetically. She was not very clear about the details of commercial association cooperation and needed Lu Xingyang and others to determine the specifics. Moreover, seeing the distress call from Flower Fruit Mountain, she had to rush over to see the situation. Very well, I will surely attend at that time, said an eager elder. Lady Lu is blessed with a daughter like Wangshu, truly a matter for celebration. With Miss Wangshu's stunning talent, her future is boundless and a golden core is to be expected. The Foundation establishment ancestors present, regardless of their private thoughts, all stepped forward to offer congratulations and spoke kind words. As for the recent robber cultivator incident, it also gradually faded from focus with the news announced by Lu Miaoge. Miaoge, if you were to go alone, there could be danger on the way. I will accompany you. Lu Yuanzhong, hearing that Lu Miaoge was heading to Flower Fruit Mountain, immediately spoke up. Danger. Lu Miaoge, upon hearing his words, paused for a moment in her heart. She had third-rank talismans and second-rank puppets in her possession, along with the golden armor bean mother, fearing no common Foundation establishment adversaries. But Lu Yuanzhong's words still made her more cautious. Uncle, please watch over father here. I will go ask Xiyu to come with me. After some thought, Lu Miaoge spoke out. She then found Xianxia and explained her intentions. All right. Xianxia, hearing this, glanced at her daughter and nodded slightly. Soon after, the two women disguised themselves and quietly left the Red Leaf Valley Market, heading toward Flower Fruit Mountain. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:19, Flower Fruit Mountain. Boom boom boom. At this moment, 3 Foundation establishment cultivators are continuously bombarding the Great Formation around Flower Fruit Mountain, causing the Array Formation's spiritual light to flicker wildly, alternately bright and dim, generating loud explosive sounds. Damn it! Lu Qingquan's expression is tense as he fully oversees the Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain, watching the 3 cultivators outside who are attacking the formation. Through their prohibition-breaking talismans and forbidden-breaking artifacts, he realized that the 3 had been plotting for a long time and were not merely ordinary robber cultivators, but rather targeting a specific power of his family. Because ordinary robber cultivators wouldn't spend so many prohibition-breaking talismans, nor prepare forbidden-breaking artifacts. Red Leaf Valley Market is currently holding an auction, and this attack clearly came prepared. Even if I send a message home, I estimate it won't be soon enough for my father and aunt to come to our aid. Moreover, while I am under attack here, White Tiger Mountain might be under attack too, and currently only Qingsong is stationed there, which could be even more dangerous. Lu Xian is continuously pondering in his heart, feeling that he cannot just sit and wait for death and must take the initiative to strike. 1 middle stage foundation establishment, 2 initial stage foundation establishments. Relying on talismans, Thunder, Fire, Mysterious Lotus, can I repel the 3 of them? Lu Xian continues to calculate in his heart. Although he is only at the 2nd level of foundation establishment, but with a flawless Dao foundation and possessing the pseudo-divine ability, Thunder, Fire, Mysterious Lotus, he is confident in battling against a middle-stage foundation establishment cultivator, even potentially killing the opponent. However, facing 3 foundation establishment cultivators, he isn't very confident. Although he can escape using the substitute talisman given by his father if defeated. But if he were defeated, the 2nd-rank Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain, without the administration of a foundation establishment cultivator, would not last long. Boom boom boom. The Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain rumbles under the bombardment. Whenever a prohibition-breaking talisman is used, the formation creates a loud noise, the spiritual light dims, causing rolling layers of misty fog. The 3 foundation establishment cultivators not only came well prepared. Among them, a thinly built, masked elder at the mid-stage of foundation establishment also understands formations, constantly seeking weak points in the Great Formation while bombarding. No, we can't keep dragging this out. If support from my family doesn't arrive in time, continuing to drag this on will only become more and more dangerous. Lu Qingquan's whole Buddhist chi is linked with the Great Formation, his internal chi, blood and mana surging violently. Realizing that if he doesn't get support and once the formation breaks, he will also be too weak to fight back. Sister Ye, Qingyu, you manage the formation, switch from defense to offense. I'm going out to try and deal with them. Lu Xian, with a solemn expression and the thunder fire flames rising in the depths of his pupils, speaks gravely, ready to leave the formation to fight. With a second-rank talisman and the pseudo-divine ability Thunder Fire Mysterious Lotus, even if he can't defeat the three, he can make them pay a heavy price. Then even if the three don't retreat, they won't have the strength to break the formation. Xianxia, as long as father and aunt arrive, the crisis will be resolved by itself. If you go out now, more harm will come than good. Lu Xiaoya, hearing this, hurriedly said, Sister Ya, these three clearly came prepared. Our family is currently holding an auction at Red Leaf Valley Market, and they might be tied up there, unable to come in time. Moreover, White Tiger Mountain might also be under attack at this time, so dragging this out will only become more and more dangerous. Lu Xian immediately shook his head, sharing his speculations. Lu Xiaoya, hearing this, clenched her teeth tightly, knowing indeed as Lu Xian had said, but still exclaimed, Xian, there are three of them outside if you... Lu Xian did not wait for Lu Xiaoya to finish speaking confidently and firmly. Don't worry, if I go all out, I'm confident I can take down one or two of them. And with the life-saving talismans from father, I won't have any danger. Even though he didn't really have this confidence deep down. But at this moment he must display a strong sense of confidence. Brother Xian, I'll be with you, assisting you in the battle. Lu Qingyu, hearing this, slightly clenched his teeth and said, he is only at 8th level energy refinement. But he has 3 second-rank talismans in hand. And Flower Fruit Mountain also has 1 second-rank puppet. No, you stay here to guard in case there are other forces spies at home. Lu Xian shook his head in refusal. Sar the Novelier. Website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Apart from their siblings, Flower Fruit Mountain also had recruited guest elders and laborers of spirit plants. Among these people they couldn't be sure if there were cultivators harboring malice, secretly planted by other forces. Thus, a constant alertness was necessary. Of course, in his opinion, this brother, only at 8th level energy refinement, facing Foundation establishment cultivators, even assisting in the battle would be quite dangerous. Having said that, Lu Xian handed the array plate to Lu Xiaoya, his life-bound spiritual artifact, the Thunderfire Scepter appearing in hand. Swoosh. He, holding the purple-red Thunderfire Scepter, with his magical robe billowing, surged out of the great formation of Flower Fruit Mountain. There's a way to heaven yet you don't go. There's no door to hell yet you intrude. Since you want to throw your life away, we will fulfill your wish. The three, seeing Lu Xian charging out of the formation, instantly had looks of doubt, surprise and delight in their eyes. They did not expect Lu Xian to take the initiative to come out of the formation. If Lu Xian hadn't come out, they would still need to spend a lot of time and effort to break the formation. However, seeing a junior at Foundation establishment daring to face the three of them, a few notes of irritation also surged in their hearts. Thinking that he was completely disregarding their presence. Thunderfire 9 Arts. Thunderfire Dragon. Lu Xian did not speak, his expression resolute, with his purple-red scepter emitting thunder arcs continuously flashing. The surging mana caused the treasure bead on the top of the scepter to emit rolling, intense flames. Roar. Accompanied by the spread of thunder and fire, a terrifying Thunderfire Dragon formed at the top of the scepter appeared, roaring towards the sky, charging at the three of them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 12:20. Do you really think everyone from Bai Lake Mountain is like Lu Pingon? If it wasn't for Lu Qingsong holding a talisman treasure and having a second-order spiritual beast, how could Lu Pingon be so arrogant back then? The three of them immediately redirected their offensive towards Lu Xian, their might surging and their killing intent piercing. Boom boom boom. The collision of mana from both sides swiftly suppressed Lu Qingchuan's Thunderfire Flood Dragon under the trio's assault. Buzz. Just then, the spiritual light surged within the great formation at Flower Fruit Mountain. The formation's azure light flowed, with faint purple glows wriggling like little snakes, forming a ring of light, pressing down towards the three attackers. Heavenly thunder, earth fire. Lu Xian coldly shouted, frantically channeling mana into his Thunderfire Scepter, creating infinite fierce flames around him while bolts of thunder streaked towards the trio. This kid is only at the early stage of Foundation establishment, how can he possess such fighting power? His cultivation technique is not simple, definitely not an ordinary one. Where did Lu Chongxing get such a cultivation technique inheritance? Wasn't he only supposed to have talisman path inheritance? After a brief exchange of blows, the three were astonished by Lu Qingquan's combat strength. It is known that all three of them come from the Jinlong Ridge gene family, practicing exquisite level cultivation methods. Their strength far surpasses that of small family forces or average loose cultivators at Foundation establishment. Yet now the trio found themselves unable to instantly suppress Lu Qingxian. Even the masked elder thought that if he battled Lu Qingxian singly, he wasn't completely confident of killing him. Bai Lake Mountain indeed still has many secrets. This child must not be spared. As long as we kill this child, even if we can't break open Monkey Hill and destroy the spirit fruit ley lines, it will still be a heavy blow to Bai Lake Mountain. The three exchanged a glance, their expressions grave, all unreservedly unleashing their killing moves. Buzz buzz buzz. A golden bowl magic artifact erupted in dazzling golden light, enveloping Lu Qingxian and making his whole body suddenly heavy. At the same time, a fierce flash of golden light appeared. In the midst of the golden light, it seemed as if a dragon claw was fiercely attacking Lu Qingxian. Not good. Lu Qingxian immediately sensed a dangerous aura from the golden dragon claw and shook his thunderfire scepter in hand. Buzz buzz buzz. Thunder light surged, forming a wall of thunder in front of the dragon claw. Crack. But in an instant, cracks appeared in the wall of thunder. This spiritual artifact is specifically designed against body-protecting magic barriers. Lu Qingxian immediately realized the extraordinary nature of this dragon claw spiritual artifact and quickly took out a second-order supreme talisman, the golden light indestructible talisman, from his storage bag. In an instant, an oval, impenetrable light of golden light emerged, protecting him within as if flowing with an undying luster. Clang! The golden dragon claw struck the golden light, resulting in a sound of metal clashing. A second-tier top-grade talisman, Lu Chongxing really is quite wealthy. The trio, seeing the golden protective light flowing around Lu Qingxian, immediately recognized it as a second-order top-level talisman. Otherwise, their high-quality spiritual artifact, designed to specifically break through defensive magic barriers, cannot be blocked by ordinary techniques. Kill. The three did not think too much. They all performed hand gestures for incantation and continued their onslaught toward Lu Qingxian with formidable and domineering vigor. Qingxian. In Flower Fruit Mountain, Lu Xiaoya and others saw the situation, saw Lu Qingxian at a disadvantage and shouted with some concern, signaling him to quickly return to the protective formation. It won't work, even the golden light indestructible talisman can only withstand a few hits. Since that's the case, let's fight with all we've got. Lu Qingxian slightly gritted his teeth, gripping a second-order top-grade talisman in his sleeve. He then tossed the thunderfire scepter in his hand, performed gesture incantation with both hands, and the scepter danced wildly, filled with rolling thunder and flames. Thunderfire seals the heavens. Endless thunder and fire rolled and spread, like a hurricane sweeping through, tumultuous and violent, completely shrouding Lu Qingxian. Second-order top-grade talisman, Unfounded Thunderfire Talisman. Lu Qingxian took advantage of the brief gap to activate an attack talisman, creating rolling heavenly thunder and earth fire, targeting the weakest Foundation establishment cultivator among the three. He knew that he had to break through them one by one now. As long as he killed one of them, he could alleviate his own dire situation. Not good, this kid still has a second-order top-grade talisman. Just how many talismans did Lu Chongxing give them? Be careful, do not be negligent. The three, seeing the sudden onslaught of heavenly thunder and earth fire, were all startled and promptly shifted from offense to defense, summoning their magic artifacts to form a majestic body-protecting spiritual light. Boom boom boom. The incessant thunder and fire bombarded the three's protective spiritual light, making the heavens and earth aglow with blinding light and lightning. Lu Qingxian looked at this scene with a trace of fierceness in his eyes, then suddenly extended both hands, his chi ocean core mana boiling and surging. Rumble. Thunderous roars exploded in the void. On his left hand, a terrifying and violent purple thunder arced and surged. On his right hand, a scorching and overbearing red flame rose and spread. Thunderfire. Mysterious Lotus. Lu Qingquan's body surged with mana, slowly gathering the thunder and flame in his hands, displaying a divine skill he had never used in actual combat before. Buzz buzz buzz. The moment thunder and flames touched, a terrifying energy burst forth, making the void seem to twist. Siege novel fire. Any *T website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Lu Qingquan's mana crazily surged, his face veins bulging as he pushed this divine skill to its limit. At this juncture, it's either they die or he dies. After all, he has the substitute talisman. In a life or death crisis, he could escape with his life. With that being the case, what is there to fear? Today, I will make a name for myself. A surge of pride erupted in Lu Qingquan's heart, determined, his hands continuously forming gestures, causing the two wildly violent energies to slowly merge. This was the first time he had pushed this divine skill to the extreme, his hands splitting and bleeding from the energy leaking from the Thunderfire mysterious lotus. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1221. Lu Xian bore the intense pain in his palm as he concentrated two streams of power into a palm-sized dark red lotus seat, with thunderous arcs of electricity weaving around it. Siege novel, fire. NT website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. What kind of technique is this? The kid is getting desperate. Fall back. At this moment, three people dissolved the Thunderfire unwarranted talisman's endless Thunderfire, ready to continue their pursuit of Lu Xian. However, the lead cultivator at the middle stage of Foundation establishment sensed an incredibly dangerous aura from the dark red flame in Lu Qingquan's hand, causing him to shudder in horror and fear. Realizing that Lu Xian was employing some kind of secret technique, a move out of sheer desperation, they wanted to dodge its sharp edge. Swish swish swish. The other two also realized something was amiss and immediately transformed into beams of escape light, trying to avoid the imminent danger. Thinking of escaping now, it's too late. Lu Qingquan's resolute and handsome face, illuminated by the dark red fire lotus and ghastly pale, looked at the three people with a sneer, then fiercely flung the dark red lotus seat in his hand at the distant trio. Swish! The dark red lotus seat fused with thunder and flames, silently cut through the void, making no sound as it traveled. Yet it made the three fleeing cultivators' hair stand on end, chilled to the bone, feeling as if a terrifying force full of destructive energy had locked onto them. The lotus seat rapidly shot towards the center of the three, and the calm dark red lotus seat suddenly became violently turbulent, then explosively expanded. Boom! An earth-shattering, deafening explosion resounded. The palm-sized dark red lotus seat swelled madly, a surge of violent and destructive energy burst forth at visible speed, tearing into all directions like roaring serpents, seeking the three cultivators fleeing in escape light. Whoosh whoosh whoosh! The dark red lightning flames swept across the sky, causing the temperature of the surrounding environment to rise rapidly. Inside Flower Fruit Mountain, Lu Xiaoya, Lu Qingyu, and all the others watched with shock and bewilderment as the terrifying wave of fire washed over the sky. It was too horrifying. The might was simply too terrifying. It didn't seem like something an initial stage of Foundation establishment cultivator could do. The second-rank Great Formation of Flower Fruit Mountain flickered crazily with spiritual light under the aftershocks of this mana, as mist permeated the air. Ah, damn it, what kind of technique is this? Among the three, the two at the initial stage of Foundation establishment saw their talismans and body-protecting magic barriers shatter in an instant under the destructive Thunderfire assault. Then their magical robes and bodies burst, turning into ashes. Only the fastest fleeing masked elder managed to stabilize himself by relying on several second-rank talismans, a magical robe and a body-protecting magic artifact. But even then, under the onslaught of Thunderfire, his skin was charred, blood flowed, and white bones were fearfully visible, a sight of utter misery. His face ghastly pale, he looked towards the equally pale Lu Xian in the distance, his eyes filled with shock and fear. He couldn't understand how an initial stage of Foundation establishment cultivator, and one who had not breached 10 years into his cultivation, could possess such astonishing methods. Not to mention for an initial stage. He would believe it even if it were described as a technique of the late stage of Foundation establishment or the peak of Foundation establishment. Go, we must go quickly. Although he saw Lu Xian was extremely weak, all he could think about was fleeing. Because he was also down to his last breath, he must hurry back to heal and save his own life. What technique is this? At this moment Lu Xiaoyao, Lu Qingyu and the others were still stupefied, murmuring to themselves. They were all familiar with Lu Xian. But they had no idea that Lu Xian possessed such a technique, having never seen it before. Brother Xian. Then Lu Qingyu saw Lu Xian plummeting from the sky and immediately shouted. He rushed out of the formation, picked up the disheveled, pale-faced Lu Xian, whose palms were bloody and almost showing white bones, and brought him back inside the great formation of Flower Fruit Mountain. As for the 3 foundation establishment cultivators from before, because the mushroom cloud-like surge of thunderfire had enveloped the sky, he could not see clearly and did not know what had happened at the moment. However, judging from the power of the thunderfire, he felt that they were most likely dead. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know, report so we can fix it as soon as possible.